And this, of course, is the AM show. But now, time for the AM news and our first story. Presidential candidate of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, has made a significant promise to the women of Ghana, vowing to operationalize the affirmative action bill if he is elected as the president on December the 7th. Speaking at the launch of the party's Women's Manifesto in Kumasi, the former president emphasized his commitment to promoting gender equality and increasing women's representation in politics. He stated that his administration would ensure that women held at least 30% of all political appointments, a move aimed at bridging the existing gender gap in Ghana's political landscape. Nana Bwachi Adam has more in this report.
The National Democratic Congress, led by its presidential candidate, John Dramani Mahama, and his running mate, Professor J. Nano Pukwajiman, alongside their executive members, launched the party's Women's Manifesto in Kumasi. Addressing the crowd, the former president emphasized his commitment to promoting gender equality and increasing women's representation in politics, stating that his administration would ensure that women hold at least 30% of all political appointments.
We note the passage of the Affirmative Action Act, and we intend to fully implement it when NDC comes into office. We'll increase women's representation in parliament, in district assemblies, and in leadership roles across all sectors. We'll do this not only because it is the right thing to do, but also Ghana needs the best of its human resource to come on board. By operationalizing the Affirmative Action Bill, Act of 2024, we will ensure that women hold at least 30% of political appointments in 2025. Bedru 2028, it was said it drew 35%. Into anya say it 30%. By 2028, it was said it drew 35%. And by 2030, I was say a 50% of appointments must go to women.
The former president charged supporters to intensify its voter education to reduce the number of spoilt ballots to be recorded in the December polls.
Nipa bebre omo abato krata no essay. If you say omu nim abanoto. Na me pesa me kachre mu nyina NDC for Ashanti region bia say Electoral Commission emrano ema kwan se wunnim abato yi a wotimi de obi ka won ho ekoto aba no enti se wunnim se na obeto aba na instead of say obekwa akotim na akosei no wotimi de wo ba ana webusuani bi eka won ho no akoboa wo no ato aba no afi ye pese abato krata na essay no ye pese ekofom if you say emre bi yetimi to aba na abato krata essay you know etimi ba third position MPP ni NDC etwemwa the next largest vote is spoiled ballot afi ye pese spoiled ballot no doso enti me pa cho moko bebi a mo kan kire ye maame mo ene ye nkokura mo ai chese either say the ni enhu ade yi ana bibi ebi obekwa akoto aba no no asai no onfa ne ba ana ne busuani bi enka ne ho na wutimi ene no kowura ho no akire wo say ne obeto aba no.
Vice presidential candidate of the NDC, Professor J. Nano Pukwajiman, emphasized the need for women representation in politics.
To join me in thanking His Excellency John Dramani Mahama because he has respected women, because he's opened the door for us. Our business is to bring in many more women. And our responsibility is to ensure that he made the right decision.
Dr. Louisa Hanabisiu is women's organizer of the NDC.
He says he's going to build market. A man look out for the market. The market, remember, the roadside is going to be enhanced. And so there are a lot of things that are going to be done. And you can trust John and Jane, the JJ team, to take us there.
For Joy News, Nana Bwachi Dankwa Kumasi.
Well, staying with the NDC, the Bono East regional chairman of the party, Onas Owusu, has assured that the chaotic scenes which led to the death of two party members during the 2020 Techiman South shooting incident will not be repeated in any part of the region. He made the statement while addressing hundreds of party faithful after a health walk in Techiman organized by the NDC Professionals Forum. Anas Sabit was on the ground and filed this report.
The 3-hour walk organized by members of the NDC Professionals Forum in partnership with the Techiman South parliamentary candidates saw hundreds of loyal party faithfuls walking through the principal streets of Techiman to energize the party's base towards the December 7 general elections. M.K. Erickson is a professional nurse and a member of the Bono East regional chapter of the NDC Pro Forum.
The Pro Forum organization is an organization that encompasses workers across this country. And so Bono East, we have this organization which encompasses nurses, doctors, teachers, and what have you. And so today, we take it upon ourselves to organize this health work in order to reorganize our base working towards 2024 elections. We are doing this to energize our base and tell the message of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and that of Honorable Dr. Kusugaba, the parliamentary candidate for Techiman South.
Secretary to the Bono East NDC Pro Forum Directorate, Bernard Latte, on his part, noted that there is a need for all professionals in the area to join the campaign trail to enable a change in the December polls.
The campaign is for everybody, and all the health professionals are now part of the campaign in Techiman South. From today up to December 7th, everybody and every individual in Techiman South constituency and in Ghana at large should embrace NDC. It has become attractive that almost everybody is willing to join. So we welcome everybody. We want everybody to be part of us. Regional chairman of the party, also given as popularly known as chairman, has also been addressing the crowd here. On December 7th, all 11 seats, all people in the street are going to be voting for the National Democratic Congress, and that is what he calls the agenda 1111. However, Chairman UNESCO is assuring the people of the constituency, South and the region at large, that what happened in 2020, the shooting incident that killed 2 lives and left a couple of others injured, is not going to happen again. Chairman UNESCO has been addressing the crowd here. December 8, 2020, no. Inshallah, I'm not going to take you out of here. I'm going to eat you now. I'm going to you out if you are telling happening, how are you to know how to man? You don't know where you are to my day. Now, what for house to house? You never tell me from. You couldn't do everything there.
Constituency youth organizer of the party, Yusuf Amalu, admonishes non-residents of Techiman who have been illegally registered to stay away from participating in the December polls to aid the smooth running of the elections.
And they are passing Profodi, Eddie Obama Techiman Safwa, or Moon to about Techiman Safwa. They are registered or Moon and take a decision. No Mui, a parliamentary candidate, and from Techiman Safwa. A bright young Cassasso, decision, I was there. Omujame to Yabani, the and the Sunday Mana, Omako for South of Fondiabano. I will for the Alba. Getting about nearby the Church out to Masafwa. Me, but I will follow Kokomutu Balofo. Monka Sanchomo, Jan Tenasi, Emma Obi free baby, Emma may take a decision from my end to Masafo. Jan Casayo, decision, I have to take your mail. So the health walk began here at the Techiman Valley Park through the principal streets of Techiman and then ended right here. The majority, almost 90% or more of the participants came to the youth from the Zongo Early Park for joining us. My name is Anas Sabit, report.
Let's talk health now. And for many years, the Congo Community-Based Health Planning and Services Center in the Tempane district of the Upper East region lacked access to water, sanitation, and hygiene facilities, posing significant challenges to both patients and staff. Pregnant women admitted to the center often had to bring water from home or bathe in the open, an uncomfortable and unhygienic situation. However, the healthcare facility has undergone a transformative change following an intervention by WaterAid Ghana and USAID. Here's a report by correspondent Albert Sori.
The Congo Community-Based Health Planning and Services CHIPS Center is one of 22 structured healthcare facilities in the Tempane district of the Upper East region. On average, the facility attends to 50 clients daily, mostly women and children. However, this CHIPS center was without water, sanitation and hygiene wash facilities for many years. This created a situation where people often had to bring water from home for their relatives on admission to the facility. It also provided no privacy for the women anytime they needed to clean themselves and change their clothes. Godfred Tay Anyogbo, the nurse in charge, recounted the difficulties faced by the staff who also had to fetch water from outside the facility for daily operations.
At the initial stage when there wasn't water, it's difficult processing our instrument and doing effective hand washing. You attend to a client and the fact that you have to go through stress to go and fetch water from a distance, you will see that the little water you have, you want to economize it. And for that matter, hand washing is not that effective. When you are in the middle of delivering service and you run out of water, you cannot leave the client to go looking for water. This is done by the staff themselves, so it makes service satisfaction to the customers also very poor.
WaterAid Ghana, with funding support from USAID, has now provided the Congo CHIPS Center with water, sanitation, and hygiene facilities. They include a mechanized solar-powered borehole to provide water for the facility all year round, and toilet facilities complete with all accessories. This development has brought immense relief to patients and staff alike.
Those days, there was no toilet facility, the bathroom, and the others. When you come, they have to go home, fetch me water, or when I want to go to toilet or free myself, I have to go home and do that. So this, my pregnancy, my confidence is that when I come to deliver, there's toilet facility, bathhouse, water flowing everywhere.
The Timpane District Director of Health Services, Eugene Osei Yeboah, noted that the Congo CHIPS Center is the only one among the structured healthcare facilities in Timpane which has wash facilities that meet the World Health Organization standards. He hopes that the government will complement the efforts of organizations like WaterAid Ghana.
Mostly when we are constructing health facilities, little attention is given to the wash aspect. I actually don't know the reason why, but it's not emphasized at all. But WaterAid came in to provide us with a standard, WHO standard of a wash facility. Now, we hope that the impact will be felt across the service provision spectrum, where there is a reduction in infections due to shortage of water or poor hygiene.
In addition to the wash facilities provided for the Congo CHIPS Center, a community mechanized water system has also been provided. For Joy News, Albert Sorry, Congo, Timpane District.
In our next story, organized labor will today decide on whether to strike or roll out a series of protests as it stands its ground against President Akufo-Addo to declare a state of emergency on illegal mining. The ad hoc committee, led by the National Security Minister, met organized labor last 2 weeks, but has since failed to give them feedback or get back to them on their decision to call off their action. This comes in the wake of the group's deadline to government, which expires today. Several associations and unions had given their indication to protest by the end of this month if the president failed to declare a state of emergency against the continuous destruction of rivers and forest reserves by illegal miners. General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, Thomas Musa, says organized labor is yet to receive an official response from government.
As of now, we have not heard anything from government. So all the issues stand safe. And it must be put on record that currently we are between life and death. And so tomorrow, organized labor will do the needful.
So that means your planned protest, as indicated, is definitely going on, as you have just said, right?
All the cards are on the table, and we will decide which one to fire tomorrow, and we'll do the same tomorrow.
What if you hear from government before the close of day today? Does it mean it's just going, they'll strike?
Oh, it's time. Once the demands are clear. Number one, state of emergency. Number two, revoke the LI, mandating people to go to the forest reserve to mine and all that. Number three, as for the creation of the special court, we know that it will take some time, but the processes must be set in motion. Then the other one, the police and the military should be equipped, be given the free hand to operate, and finally place a total ban on mining, whether illegal or illegal. Place total ban on it. Let our rivers and our water bodies rest, and let us streamline all the activities of mining in Ghana. Then we take it out from there. These are the demands, and we stand by them as of today.
In clear terms, what exactly are your proposals? What are you saying that you do tomorrow? Because you're saying that you do the needful. What exactly does that mean?
All the options are on the table.
Including?
We have the issue of strike, we have the issue of demonstration, and all the other related constitutional rights provided for us. And we will decide which one to deploy tomorrow, my sister.
All right, so what are the consequences for the country if government fails to act on that illegal mining issue? Because you are saying you have two options for tomorrow.
Oh, already we are facing an existential threat. And that is why we are asking His Excellency the President that under Article 31, that when the lives of the people are threatened, the Constitution allows the President to declare a state of emergency. And aside that one,
President Akufo-Addo was this weekend reminded of the call to declare a state of emergency by the president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Albert Jumfuo, but he is yet to state his position on the issue.
We are aware that some time ago, Mr. President, the father of the nation, made a firm vow to stop galamsey. But regrettably, that promise has not been fulfilled, Mr. President. You are barely 3 months until the end of the administration, and we are hopeful that you will deal with the situation before you leave office. We still maintain that a state of emergency must be declared over our water bodies, and all planned and active mining concessions overlapping with river buffers should be abrogated, and all mining activities within 100 meters buffer of all rivers and streams should be halted with immediate effect.
Now, with the deadline on government expiring in a few hours, key actors of the two major political parties have been flip-flopping on their commitment to fight illegal mining. Let's first take a listen to NPP MP for Efidiase Asokore in the Ashanti region and chairman of Parliament's Health Committee, Dr. Nayao Efrie, who says the NPP government will not take any action to stop the illegal mining menace as it will affect the party's electoral fortunes.
Who say we are winning the seats in the mining areas.
They have seen that we are winning the elections, so they decided to import foreigners into our country and specifically instructed to mine in the water bodies. There hasn't been a water crisis in the country until a month ago. They trapped us into stopping illegal miners from engaging in galamsey. We won't stop them today or tomorrow. Is galamsey done in Accra? If they are men, they should come to Kumasi and hold their demonstration.
Now, here is the NDC's running mate, Jane Opoku-Agyeman, promising the people of Amemfi Central that a future NDC government would offer them training and guidance on ways to undertake galamsey activities without causing destruction to water bodies.
If you have a government who collapses jobs without creating any, what do you expect the young people to do? We have good news for you. Just like how galamsey is done in other countries without causing destruction to their water bodies, we will train you to partake in galamsey activities in that same way.
It's time now for our business updates. Let's head into our first story. The lack of sufficient collateral and well-structured business plans are significant barriers to securing banking financing. In an interview with Joy Business at the Oil and Gas Conference in Accra, Head of Energy and Infrastructure for West Africa at Stanbic Bank, Olukayode Aduloju, emphasized the crucial role banks played in providing financial support for both small and large-scale projects in Ghana's oil and gas sector.
In terms of challenges that they're facing right now, one is typically the maturity that the banks ask for in terms of the company. So things like, audited accounts, and also some of the security that typically the banks ask for. So typically, unfortunately, when a local entity goes to a bank, some banks will ask for hard security such as properties and other assets, which unfortunately some of these companies can't actually provide. So that's a key challenge to that. And then also it's equity, right? So it's that equity capital and getting access to the equity capital, which is required for some of the larger projects, which also provides banks with comforts.
Now, despite many rumors, CalBank has denied sacking some executive directors and board members as part of efforts to correct previous impairment issues. This was contained in a statement issued by the bank yesterday. George Weafe has the rest of the story.
CalBank in the statement maintained that these changes undertaken was as a result of ongoing restructuring efforts and not part of measures to deal with previous impairment challenges. It added that these changes were necessary because the directors in question had concluded their tenure. However, the necessary changes were not effected because of an injunction by one of the shareholders of the bank. CalBank revealed that it is hoping to replace these directors at an extraordinary general meeting that will be held in the coming weeks. CalBank again revealed that a significant portion of the challenges that faced the bank was legacy-related, which the current board has worked to address. It also added that the recent financial results showed that the bank has been posting some strong numbers.
Well, that's it for the business updates and, of course, for the news as well. But you know what to expect. We're serving you the news review. Next, energy analyst Kojo Poku joins the conversation. And financial analyst Wisdom Dugbe also joins the conversation. And you know that when we get into our big stories, it's Pink October. We'll be having a crucial conversation on that beat today. And on the back of that crucial IPAC meeting of political parties with the Electoral Commission, we'll bring you the scoop on that as well. Stay with us. The news review is up next. Welcome back. Time now for the news review. Let's start with this bit about the Energy Commission. And it's the 5th edition of the Energy Commission Senior High Schools Renewable Energy Challenge. Now, the Energy Commission and Ministry of Energy in collaboration with the Ghana Education Service and the Ghana TVET Service present the 5th edition of the Energy Commission Senior High Schools Renewable Energy Challenge. This challenge aims at developing the research skills of senior high school students and promoting technological innovation in renewable energy. Competing fiercely in this thrilling competition are the following schools: Obuasi SHTS, St. James Seminary SHS, Ola Girls SHS, Ahantaman Girls SHS, Kpando SHS, and Dabokba Technical Institute. Join us for the grand finale on Tuesday, 8th October 2024 at the Accra International Conference Center. You can catch the live broadcast on Joy News at 9 a.m. This event is proudly supported by GIZ, Ashesi University, the French Development Agency, the VRA, and others. Well, time now for us to delve into the review. Joining us, our guests, Wisdom Dugbe is a financial analyst. We also have Kojo Poku, Kojo Nsafua Poku. Let's see whether he holds the keys this morning. He, of course, is an energy analyst. He's also on the Energy Committee, head of the Energy Committee as far as Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's campaign is concerned. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning and happy new month.
Happy new month to you too.
How are you?
I'm well. Kojo, how about you?
I'm very well. I mean, I haven't had enough sleep, but that's the nature of the work that we're doing. So we are on the road trying to get to Ghanaians and preach the good news of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Well, you're not the only one not getting enough sleep. Sometimes the work and other things keep you awake. But how is the campaign going? Where have you been in recent times? And what can you, so to speak, report? Today you are a correspondent from the places you've been to. So tell us. What's been happening?
Well, then I might as well be sending my check for my alawa if that's the Joy News correspondent for Dr. Bawumia.
I'm giving you a slot. I'm giving you a slot to talk about what you guys have been up to, and you are telling me that I should pay you for giving you the opportunity to talk about that. All right, go ahead, Kojo.
Well, we successfully finished the Western region. We ended at Awasa, Kropon, Amenfi Central, and went very well. And then we entered the Western North yesterday. And yesterday we did the Bia area, the Bia East, the Bia West. And the reception from the cocoa farmers was immense and tremendous and beautiful because they love the increment in the cocoa prices that we've done and the support that we've given to the cocoa industry to date. So last night. So it's been a great tour and the reception is beautiful. Look, these kids are up and you see the energy. And like I've always said, this election is a youthful election and that will carry the day.
Right. Let me come to you, Wisdom. You have not been on the campaign trail, but I know you follow the dynamics in our country a lot. What do you have to share with us this morning? And Kojo, just to confirm, are you done with what you have to share with us by way of the 1 minute or so we give you, or would you like a take on that again?
That's right.
You got 4 minutes. What are you talking about? You got 4 minutes.
Okay.
Kojo, your connection is not so good. So let me go to Wisdom. And I didn't hear what you said. If you do have something else to talk about.
Yeah, I'm okay. For some reason, it just started pouring cats and dogs just as we started the program. So I think that will affect the network a bit. But
okay.
Yeah, I heard you.
All right. I thought for a moment it was raining elephants and umbrellas, and maybe butterflies. All right. Let me come to you, Wisdom. Your take.
Yeah, Ben, I read about the Bank of Ghana launching the Ghana Gold Coin as an investment vehicle to ease up the pressure on the city, as investors buy and hoard the dollar. I think it's a good move by the Bank of Ghana. For some time now, it looked like the Bank of Ghana, they were struggling a bit with a policy. I mean, when it comes to coming up with sound economic policies to address inflation and the depreciation of the city. But this one, I think they might have gotten it right, and we must commend them for that. I say that because gold coins are known to stabilize the local currency, providing stable value benchmark, which could potentially restore confidence in the city and also reduce volatility. It is a good hedge, Ben, against inflation, and it diversifies monetary tools, which allows flexibility in managing money supply and also ensuring economic stability. And of course, it is a boost to the local gold market also. However, I think that investors need to know that perception sometimes is that when a central bank pushes gold coins, right, as an investment option, there is that perception of a loss of control. And it may be perceived as a lack of confidence in the local currency, which it is, I get that. But that unfortunately can lead to, potentially undermining the Bank of Ghana's authority and credibility, which is not always good for investor confidence.
All right. I have read a number of people saying that while this may be some positive move, it is not a cure to our inflationary situation, the inflationary pressures that the city keeps feeling. And of course, we know that there's still an uptick. And if you look at the Swiss franc, if you look at the euro, the pound, the dollar, the movements are still problematic, especially getting into the last quarter of the year. In fact, we are in the last quarter now. and still the situation being like this. Professor Bokpin of the University of Ghana Business School, for example, wades into this and says this is no cure. But of course, let's see. I've read all the stories about this, as many as I can, about the 1 ounce, is it half ounce, quarter ounce denominations. And these, of course, are not like, these are 99.9%, dowry gold. So let's wait and see what the impact of that would be.
Absolutely.
But gentlemen, let's
your
get...
point, it's not a cure, right? It's not a cure. We're in the last quarter, you're going to see a lot of volumes going up.
Right.
Because trade has to pick up. We're going towards Christmas season, and people will need dollars, not gold, right? To be able to import and all of that stuff. So to your point, I think you're right.
All right, so let's get into the stories. The Daily Graphic newspaper. Gentlemen, so let's let our comments be incisive, not too much back and forth, so that we can do as many stories as possible. So you can also talk as much as you want. The Daily Graphic. Alan promises to audit mining licenses. Springfield secures rig to appraise Afina oil field. Nation secures $30 million UAE grant for forest conservation. I saw this story yesterday, and I was a bit distraught. And I'll get into it. Get licensed or shut down. Trade Minister directs cement producers. Then, on the back page, GFA to invest $2.8 million World Cup earnings in 40-bed accommodation. Picture there, Kurt Okraku. In this picture, he looks a bit tired and all that. The work will not be easy. But at the same time, Mr. Okraku, I want to find out what happened to the 200,000 plus given to you by CAF to take care of our pitches, ahead of the qualifiers and all of that. And we had some millions. We've had some millions. And that may not directly go to the GFA, for example. That one, National Sports Authority, Sports Ministry. What happened to the around 40 or so something million that we had for, renovation and some work to be done on our stadia? Because that incident is still a blot on our conscience that in Ghana, we can't find a proper football stadium for our players to play in. It's whenever I remember, it just, like we say here, it busts my brain. But let me start from there. So the Ghana Football Association has disclosed that its net share of earnings from the Black Stars' participation in the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar stands at $2.8 million. This sum, which will be invested in legacy projects, forms part of the $9 million Ghana received for reaching the group stage of the global tournament. Of course, President of the GFA, Kurt Simeon Okraku, made this revelation yesterday when he appeared before the Youth and Sports Committee of Parliament. Then GFA justifies $100,000 bonus payout. So a member of the Executive Council of the Ghana Football Association, Randy Abbey, has staunchly defended the decision to pay $100,000 to each member of the Black Stars Management Committee following the team's participation in the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. Speaking before the Youth and Sports Committee of Parliament yesterday, Mr. Abbey argued that the payment was justified given that none of the 5 management committee members received any monthly or sitting allowances for their services. In his view, bonuses were paid whenever success was achieved and held that it was right that the committee members should also be rewarded. Randy is my, senior brother in many respects. And in some way, you could agree with him that, yes, this and that. But when he talks about bonuses were paid whenever success was achieved, I don't know about the success of the last campaign at the FIFA World Cup. Or was it beating the South Koreans? Was that enough to be chalked as success? I think I want to take your thoughts on the footballing aspects before we get into other stories. Kojo?
Yeah, thank you, and good morning to your viewers as well. Look, I have always said that the GFA is a private association. Just that we are so passionate about football that everybody tend to basically weigh into football and make it look like it's a government-run institution. It's not. It is private and it's an association, and they do as they wish and they do as they like. there isn't much that anybody can do. The unfortunate part is that we keep pumping money into their activities, and we have zero influence on what they do. If you would, in the future, come and ask government for support to go to some of these events, then you get a windfall. Instead for you to save it for a rainy day, you decide to now share it among your members and call something success. Yes, nobody's saying that maybe your buy is so low that just the mere participation is a success. So maybe that's what it is. But I honestly say that, look, there's a lot that needs to be done with GFA. And I have always shared this view that we give too much to a private association that is not accountable to the government the way it should be. And for me, I think CAF and the FIFA should fund everything through and through, and everybody should leave government out of GFA's activity. It's unfortunate, but we keep having government in the middle of basically Premier Leagues and the Black Stars and all that, but which it has nothing to do with government. Just that because of the passion of the people, government tends to find itself in the middle of this. But then that's the result of what you get. $100,000 goes to the pocket of people who did not kick a single football.
Wisdom, any thoughts?
Look, Ben, I couldn't agree with Kojo more on this one. Sorry, Kojo, I mispronounced your name. Look, I'm not against anybody making a lot of money for as long as there is value for that money or there is performance, so to speak. You asked the right question, so I'm going to make my comment very brief. What is the success they are talking about? If they had made much success that you can link directly to their performance, then we can say that they deserve to be paid that money. Because even the Bible says the worker is worthy of his remuneration, right? That's what the scripture says. But if you are not working, or if you're not producing results, I don't believe that you are entitled to that kind of bonus payment or whatever payment that is. But to Kojo's point, the money is coming from somewhere, right? I think it makes absolutely no sense to continue pumping money into an entity or venture when they cannot render an account to you or when there is no accountability or transparency. So I think this should be a wake-up call to the authorities.
All right. Let's get into other stories now. Alan promises to audit mining licenses. And let me start with this one. Get licensed or shut down. Trade Minister directs cement producers. Now, the Minister of Trade and Industry, K.T. Hammond, has directed cement manufacturers to secure licenses or halt production immediately. The minister issued the directive last Tuesday to the Cement Manufacturing Development Committee, set up last year to regulate the industry for prompt enforcement. The directive follows the coming into force of the Ghana Standard Authority's Manufacturer of Cement Regulation 2023, LI 2480, which mandates existing companies to re-register and secure a license and prohibits new factories without a license from operating. Of course, this would also come on the back of cement prices, the hike in cement prices, and some people, including Chinese manufacturers, and I don't like stereotyping, but some of what some of these other nationals come to our country and do, you cannot dare go to their country and do it. And sometimes you ask yourself, are watchdog institutions? And I'm not necessarily condemning the GSA, the Ghana Standards Authority, and the FDA, the Food and Drugs Authority, for some of them, because it's not just cement I'm talking about. But sometimes you ask yourself why it takes so long and why people can sometimes get through the cracks for so long before we're able to nip the situation in the bud. Then I'll go to the Alan Chemartin story before I go on page 16. So let's go to page 13, shall we? Are we... My throat this morning is deciding to do its own thing. Now, independent presidential candidate Alan Kwadwo Chemartin has pledged to revoke all mining licenses issued in the last 15 years when elected as president. He said that will be followed by a thorough audit of all small-scale and community mining licenses issued within this period to clean up the corrupt system that had allowed illegal mining to thrive. In addition to the ban, Mr. Chemating said he would oversee the demobilization of all mining machinery across the country, especially those used in small-scale and community mining. Under that intervention, the 48th Engineers Regiment of the Ghana Armed Forces would oversee the dismantling and safe storage of such equipment to prevent further illegal mining. Of course, we know that he's been talking about his 10-point blueprint. There's also this final one. Let me just get into it. Or maybe let me pause there, because in addition to that, I want to add, gentlemen, we've heard recent comments that have got us a bit concerned. The MPP, and one, we did it in the news this morning, an MP talking about the fact that it's the other side, the opposition, that wants to make us look bad with illegal mining. And so pay no attention to them. They want us to ban it so that we will lose votes. But we will not ban it today, we will not ban it tomorrow. Then, only yesterday, at the launch of the NDC's Women's Manifesto, you also have the running mate of the NDC saying that they will train people in how to do galamsey in a sustainable way. Galamsey itself, by its name, is illegal. So I don't know whether this was properly considered, thought through before some of these statements were made, because there's small-scale mining, which is a totally different thing from galamsey. It leaves us scratching our heads and very worried about galamsey and the positioning of our political parties. I'll start with you this time, Wisdom, on your thoughts on the matter.
Ben, I think Professor Jane is absolutely right. We can assure folks, right, that there is a responsible way to mine small-scale mining.
I just want to take you back briefly. You just said we can assure. Are you a part of the campaign?
No, I'm a Guinean.
Well, why are you not noticing it? I'm surprised.
Let me find out from you.
That is the most important thing.
When the man met with John Mahama and always said, I mean, I'm surprised you are now noticing this.
Let me give the horse his due to speak on his own. Look, are you a part of the campaign?
No, I'm telling you, I don't know why you just noticed it. He's always been.
Look, I've always been in the center. I've always taken very neutral positions. But this is what I wanted to say, okay? Professor Jane is right. They can make sure that we have responsible small-scale mining to train and not destroy our water bodies. We can also pursue alternative livelihoods and reduce dependency on galamsey. But let me segue and comment briefly on what Dr. Afriye said. Ben, Ghanaians have been saying this for a long time now, that government is complicit when it comes to the menace of galamsey. Honorable Dr. Afriye, he just confirmed that what Ghanaians have known for all this while, that government is in no mood to ban galamsey, only because of political reasons. Why are we all acting like surprised by what he said? We knew that there was no political will in the first place. That is why we can't trust our government on these things, Ben.
But is it not for the same political expediency that Professor Opoku-Agyeman is also saying, oh, we will tackle this and we'll train you on how to do it? Is that not the same point? Is it not about political expediency? Can we trust them? If you say we can't trust these people, can we trust them?
Yeah, of course. And I mean, I'm not talking for Professor Jane, but I believe that what she meant to say is the small-scale mining. But in Ghana,
well, unfortunately, she didn't say small-scale. I listened to the news yesterday, midday, on radio, and I was taken aback when I heard the story because I was wondering, did she mean small-scale mining? But that is not my job. It's not up to me to put words in her mouth. Whatever she said is what will be reported.
That is what she was referring to. There is absolutely no way that Professor Jane would condone any form of illegal mining. That I can assure you.
Wisdom, I have a question for you. Wait. Yeah. I have a question for you. The small-scale miners already have a setup. Some of them are not doing the right thing, yes, but they have a setup. They seem to, by and large, know what they are about. Is it not illegal miners, rather, who, because of a lack of knowledge, go haphazard and destroy the environment? That leads me to think she must have been referring, indeed, to galamsey, not small-scale mining.
I have a different opinion. I strongly believe that she was referring to small-scale miners.
Okay.
Especially the youth that have been at home and have no other work opportunities, and so they take up mining, and they are illegal. I get that part. So those ones, we can train them, give them the license if they qualify, if they have the companies, they have the training, they have the facilities in place to mine safely. I believe that is what Professor Jane was talking about.
All right.
But Ben, this is the issue. We are in a state of emergency, and the president needs to declare emergency or call it out. He needs to speak out. It is indeed a transnational organized crime, as Professor Kwesieni put it. This is the thing. We know that some of our leaders are not serious about fighting this menace and saving our lands and forests and water bodies. And this is one of the monumental failures of this administration, Ben.
Okay.
We need to start from the root cause. Quickly, we need to start from the root cause. Let's face it. Most of these people who work in these illegal mining operations, they do so because they don't have jobs. That's what I was saying earlier on.
Okay.
And Professor also talked about.
Right.
Some of them, that is the only livelihood they have. So let's train them and let's find alternative livelihood for them. That's how you can.
I think your point is made, Wisdom, Ekojo, on those same points. You've decided not to speak on the cement manufacturing bit, but that's fine. Let me come to you,
I have a few comments on that after.
No, it's fine. It's fine because of time. Kojo, let's go.
My brother, let me go on this tangent that my brother just went back and forth with you on. The fundamental issue on the ground is when people refer to Galamsey as everything. That is why the Association of Small-Scale Miners came out heavily that, look, let's not class them as Galamsey, because everybody refers to mining in the small-scale mining sector as Galamsey, be it illegal mining or legit.
And that is a problem that may explain what Wisdom is saying. Maybe the running mate got it wrong because her understanding of it is Galamsey covers all of these. But I still feel it's a bad mistake. It's a bad mistake.
What is good for the geese is good for the gander. That is also explains what Dr. Friye was saying, the MP for Fijase. It's the same thing. Okay? It is the word Galamsey that is used, because if you read the full thing that he said that we will not ban responsible mining. Responsible mining is small-scale mining. The Small-Scale Mining Association has come out to say that, look, let's not give them a bad name. It's like hanging a dog and giving it a bad name. Or you don't understand.
Giving a dog a bad name and hanging it, of course, you have to do something first.
Giving a dog a bad name, giving a dog a bad name to hang it and flog it. So the issue, and it goes on both sides, is that everybody use the word Galamsey.
Right.
And Galamsey is meant to refer, including the small-scale miners. So the right thing which Professor Dr. Friye was also saying is that we will not ban responsible mining. In fact, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia has gone out and give out reasons, including the minerals bank that he wants to form, giving equipment and basically investing in geological survey for the miners. So they are not doing try and error like the way they are doing now. Give them the scientific data to know where the gold is so that they will mine responsibly. Okay, so look, I would agree to extend that is the education to the populace that's important. We need to educate the populace that when people say Galamsey, it's not all about illegal mining.
Okay.
They refer to, so when we say that we will not ban Galamsey, it means that we will not ban illegal mining. We will not ban the legitimate guys.
Right.
Right. The problem, though, the problem with what Dr. Friye said is he did not just say we will not ban it because of this, because of that. He made specific reference.
Before you go on to say the problem,
let me finish my point, Kojo. Let me finish my point.
Okay, so Wisdom, the point you're trying to make, for the sake of time, you're trying to make the point that he said it, adding that it's for political reasons. And that they will not do it because of political expediency.
That's what I wanted to say.
All right.
That's exactly the point.
Kojo.
Yeah, but hold on, there is a thing. Hold on, that's the point I want to make. There is a tape. Nana Jane tape. We can play that tape.
There's a tape
Nana
of
Jane
what?
Mensa is in the Western region saying exactly the same thing, that if you think the NDC will ban Galamsey, then you are out of your mind. He said the same thing.
I would like to.
NDC will not ban Galamsey today or tomorrow.
Kojo, the connection is a bit bad. Gentlemen, please, let me regulate this. Kojo, the connection is bad, so I lost a bit of. You say who is in the central region saying that? Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman.
In the western region, Nana Jane Mensah.
Jean Mensah is the EC
in the
chair.
western region saying there's a tape on Galamsey, then you're out of your mind. Which he's talking about the illegal mining that they are doing. That they won't ban it. There's a tape out there. Everybody can go watch it on TikTok.
I don't believe Professor James.
Wisdom, I'm going to cut you again. I keep losing you at the time you are mentioning the name. You mentioned Mensah. Is it the running mate of the NDC you are referring to? Kojo?
Oh, sorry, yes, the Professor
okay,
Nana.
Because you mentioned Mensah, so I got confused. I think you were mixing her with the EC boss.
Professor Nana, the running mate of the NDC, was in the western region.
That's not
made
true.
a clear pronouncement, and it's on video, on social media.
I have not seen that. What I have seen or heard is the one from yesterday, the women's manifesto. So if you have this video, maybe you could share it with us.
Way before I can send it to you, Wisdom. Next week we can play it. I can send it to you.
You can send it to me. You can share it with me now.
Right? In all of these things,
if you have it, share it with me now.
I believe that. Just 10 seconds. I believe that.
The very phone that I'm zooming on.
So this is the thing. In all of these things, I believe that it will help a whole lot if the president can go on record and declare a state of emergency. It is critically important where we are at this point.
Right.
The nation's
nobody's going to
it is affecting infrastructure development. People are getting sick. There are reports of cleft lip. Babies are being born with cleft lip. The president needs to come out and declare a state of emergency.
Okay.
Because it's a national security disaster at this point.
All right. Let's get into other stories very quickly. Nation secures $30 million UAE grant for forest conservation. And the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has signed a letter of intent with the United Arab Emirates government for the grant of $30 million to provide additional alternative livelihood support for forest fringe communities. The project, which will be implemented by the Forestry Commission, will be used as an incentive for the communities to engage in enhanced forest protection, forest restoration, and reforestation. It forms part of efforts by the government to achieve the biodiversity and climate objectives under the Resilient Ghana package launched at COP28 in Dubai last year. I find this funny. Not funny from the standpoint of doing the right thing, afforestation, reforestation, whatever you want to call it. But we like to do these things. Oh, Green Ghana, and then from one end, and from the other end, the same political actors are doing Galamsey. Recently, when our president was heckled, so to speak, by some demonstrators, Ghanaians, when going to the UN General Assembly to deliver, it painted a sad picture, but it is the situation. So for me, when it comes to some of these things, I want to see what the impact will be, because throughout, from Operation Halt to blah, 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 we all see the water bodies. So let's not pretend. And this final one I'll do on page 17 will deliver on our mandate, EC Chair assures. Ahead of today's crucial inter-party advisory committee meeting, the Electoral Commission has urged all political parties to present any discrepancies or concerns they have about the provisional voters register. That, it said, would enable the EC to further clean the register and rid it of any discrepancies. It said the EC considered the register a national document and urged all parties to collaborate with it by presenting details of any lack of congruence to enable the EC to produce a credible and robust final register. That is the story there. And I want your quick reflections, gentlemen, in no more than a minute each, so we can get into other papers. Kojo, starting with you.
Yeah, Ben, I'll try and get that video to you. The unfortunate thing is that the phone I'm using is a very phone that the video is on, so I cannot basically stop the Zoom and get that video.
That's fine.
We've all heard we've all seen the demonstration. We've all heard the noise. This is the time where the tie catches the road. Go to IPAC and produce your evidence. It's very simple. We've always said that the place where you need to resolve these issues is on the grassroots and also in EC. So with all the noise and with all the demonstrations that has gone on, today is the day of judgment, the day of reckoning. The NDC are supposed to carry their evidence to IPAC and show the whole world what they've been talking about.
But,
so I think
when you say this is the day of reckoning, not necessarily. This is not what they called for. They said that it was also possible.
Well,
that, hold for me, Kojo. It was also possible
themselves
to do this. This was an alternative proposal.
Well, that is what they advised.
Kojo, can you let me make my point? Can you let me make my point? They said that we, the parties, can come together like this, but we'll have an independent entity in there as well. After our deliberations and everything, they'll also look into the matter and then give a verdict. That is not what is happening today. So this is not where the bus stops.
Esedun Ketia advised us that it's not necessary, and that one too is on video. I'm sure you've seen that video where Esedun Ketia says that no. Esedun Ketia said that no individual person can, and no third party can come in and start pinpointing who is dead and who is not dead. And if he pinpoints Kwabena Japan, he used Kwabena Japan as an example. When Kwabena Japan is alive, that video too is out there, where Esedun Ketia advised the whole country the way that these things should be done.
You are talking about before 2016, right?
Sorry?
You are talking about before 2016, right?
We are talking about 2016,
right?
Not before 2016.
So let's say, fine. Let's say that was the case then. Should we continue with that now, especially when in 2016, ahead of the elections, there was an audit?
Yes.
Was there an audit or not?
The case. What has changed?
There was an audit then. There's no audit now.
There was no audit. There was no audit. The audit was the exhibition. The only audit is the exhibition. And that was what the NDC made sure existed during under our sister Charlotte Osei. So what has changed?
There was an audit, Kojo, but there
wasn't. The only audit that existed was the exhibition.
For the sake of time, wisdom.
The exhibition has been done. We move on. Nobody.
Wisdom, very quickly. Let's move on.
It's very simple. Wisdom. They can either go and give the evidence at IPAC or don't take part in the election, whichever way MPP is winning.
Wisdom, you have a minute. Let's go.
Ben, look, I saw the statement from
and not
the
more
EC
than a minute. I beg of you, within 1 minute.
You know, I saw their statement declining to grant an independent forensic audit of the voter register to determine if the issues were all cured. And hear this. The EC's communication said that they have largely, listen to the word they use, largely, they have largely corrected all the discrepancies. When we are talking about a critical democratic process, like a national election, largely it's not good enough. You need to assure the voters, the political parties, and all stakeholders that you have fully, not largely, fully rectified all the issues. I cannot in good conscience take the comments of the EC that they have fixed this largely, right? I can't take that to be good enough or assurance of the credibility in a consequential election like this one that is coming up in December.
Okay.
The EC is also saying quickly, they are also saying that they invite the NDC and all the stakeholders to discuss to the discussion table at the IPAC meeting today to demonstrate and prove to them that the issues have been rectified. To be honest, I think that a good approach is that one. That could be a good approach also. But why can't they simply allow or support an independent forensic audit?
Because the law does not allow that. There is no law in Ghana that brings an independent party to edit the EC. That's simple as that. What are you talking about?
They answered that. They also answered that. And they mentioned that the production of
there is no law. Where there is no law, we can't allow. When there is the law, we allow it. Please.
But this
is what they said. Quickly.
Gentlemen, no. There's no quickly anymore. The time is up. Please. We can't keep doing this. But Kojo, the bit about there is no law that says this does not neutralize the fact that there could be this. And there have been instances in the past where there has been extra scrutiny on this. Let's not go with a bit of there is no law. It's not everything that is in black and white in the Constitution. That you should know. Let's get into other stories and end the conversation. Daily Guide newspaper. It talks about the $30 million to protect forests. And I know that is... when pigs fly, let me leave it at that expression. Abri Girls headmistress, Daily Guide, we could have used passes or something, in Italy, and may her soul rest in peace. Saglemi housing project begins November, that's according to Kojo Ponkroma. I'm interested in finding out what the Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Pram, who was on my show on many occasions and vowed that they would not allow any entity to take over the Saglemi housing project. I would like to find out what his reaction would be, maybe someday when I speak to him soon. But Minister for Works and Housing, Kojo Ponkroma, has announced that work will resume on the stalled Saglemi housing project in November this year. Initiated under the erstwhile NDC administration, the $20 million project came to a standstill. I think they mean $200 million. Came to a standstill after a value for money audit revealed that only 1,506 units were completed instead of a total of 5,000. It goes on, but I've read that there are some shortlisted entities, including two, that seem to be making some inroads. What I'm also concerned about, some of these private entities who may be showing interest, if there is a switch in government, how that will impact all of this. It's just a few months down the road. Of course, the benefits, it has been decided that whatever government has invested in the past will be government's stake. That is what the NDC invested in it. And whatever this private entity will invest will be its stake. So stake based on how much investment has been made. And then whichever government comes, we'll take it from there. But I don't know, with the positioning of the NDC, if they were to win, whether that would see the light of day. Haptel debunks false ECG contract claims, some claims made about sums of money, and I think the president's daughters in the past. I believe that was Okujeto Ablakwa. Economy Times, commercial banks to begin selling gold coin. Government records lower budget deficit. And banks to cut lending rates. All of that in there. The final bit I'll add, just for quick reflections. I just saw Musa Dankwa of the Global Info Analytics putting out the latest poll. And it's interesting because just yesterday we were reading another one that suggested that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was in the lead. Well, the final field poll conducted by Global Info Analytics nearly 2 months before the December 2024 poll shows John Dramani Mahama, leader of the NDC, maintaining his lead in the poll with 51.1% of the votes. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, 37.3%. Alan Kojo Tremantin as well on 4.1%. And Nana Kwame Bediako also on 6.2% and others on 1.3%. You know, with all these polls, I just say that come election 2024, we'll see. We'll see the real sizes.
And that sounds about right to me.
So Kojo, let me start with you. You have 30 seconds. Wisdom, 30 seconds. If you don't stick to 30 seconds, I'll have to cut you off. 30 seconds,
You
Kojo.
see how Wisdom now said that sounds about right. Look, get out there and campaign and let this Musa Dankwa be chopping your money. That's all I have to say to the NDC. Look, on the issue of the Saglemi, it's good news. I don't know why you think that a new government will have to start and repose and all that. Look, that has been the case when we have these contractors coming into the country and they don't have confidence in the process because they think that government might change and they might change the policy. It shouldn't be. Look, if we have value for money audit and the right thing is done and there is a tender, an international and open tender, why should a change in government affect that? That project has been long overdue, and I think that, look, we play politics too much with some of these national projects, and we should just move on and get it done.
Thank you. Wisdom, 30 seconds. Let's go.
Look, I'll tell you this. The whole thing about the Saglemi project is, I believe, is a national embarrassment. We play politics with everything, including a project like this, which will solve the acute housing crisis in the nation's capital. The initial goal was to build 5,000 housing units in this project.
And we built about 1,500.
Yeah. Now, but previous administration built 1,500, 1,005. Instead of this administration building on that momentum, we allowed 1,500 units to sit idle for almost 8 years.
I agree with you on that, but the cost value as well, that was problematic. But anyway, we have to wrap it here, gentlemen. Unfortunately, there's no more time to proceed on this. Thank you very much, Wisdom Dogbe, financial analyst. Thank you very much, Kojo Poku, energy analyst, for joining us for the news review. Up next, we serve you sports. Do stay.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to AM Sports. I am Muftaru Nabila Abdullahi, President of the Ghana Football Association. Kate Okriku has defended the decision of the football governing body to have management committees for all the national teams. According to him, the Ghana Football Association has about 20 national teams, and each national team has got a unique responsibility. Hence, the decision for them to set up committees that will supervise these teams.
We all have varied reasons for taking management decisions. And I have said here that the size, first of all, I've said here that having management committees in managing our national teams is as relevant yesterday as it is today. I have said this here. Secondly, I have also said that the numbers are not cast in stone, and that we even have certain management committees that have 3 members. The Black Stars is a premium brand of our country. The Black Queens, the premium brand when it comes to women's football. The demands of managing the Black Stars are distinctively distinct for managing the National U15 or National U17. The demands of the technical team at the Black Stars level, at the Black Queens level, are distinct. So it is very clear. Management is very dynamic. Of course, you'll be thinking about judicial usage of resources, but management at the junior level don't take money from the FA. At the Black Stars level, I don't take per diem. I don't take per diem. None of the management members take per diem. So I don't see the hue and cry. People are just misfed with the wrong information. What is true is that you need manpower, you need the right people with the right skill set to manage our national teams. And they are supported by the National Teams Department.
Meanwhile, referees chairman, who was also before the committee, revealed that each referee who officiates in the Ghana Premier League is paid 1,000 Ghana cedis, while those officiating in the Women's Premier League are on 750 Ghana cedis. This, they believe, is inadequate and could lead to some officials putting themselves in compromising situations that would lead to a negative impact on Ghana football.
Honorable Chair, if you want to know, is a take-home of 1,000 Ghana cedis for the Premier referees. 900 Ghana is a 7.
Hello, I'm not saying you should answer the initial question. Okay. But then, if you are suggesting that you want to be heard in camera, no, I will oblige you on this. But the issue is this. He's asking a further question by saying that if you do not say this, and he is without the information, how does he go advocating for you, which is also a legitimate issue. So you have to do the balancing and see whether you should still be heard in camera, or you tell us what it is so that we will all go and speak for you, you know. But in whichever way, we'll capture, whether in camera or not, your issues in our report anyway.
Okay, thank you. I just want to, I'll give you the figures so that the rest will be in camera. The doll and the women, that's Division 1 and the women, they receive 750 Ghana cedis. As all-inclusive. The all-inclusive for Premier is 1,000 and 750 for this. That is what we have. But the rest of the information, we prefer to actually to have it in camera.
Per match or for the
per match, per referee, 750 cedis and 1,000 Ghana cedis.
And
the Parliament Committee is probing into a petition that was submitted by the Safe Ghana Football Conveners that raised questions about the governance of football in this country. Now let's talk African Games 2024. many months after the organization of the competitions, questions were raised by some members of parliament and also the media, especially stories that came from Joy Sports. Our desk had done a plethora of stories that went deep into some of the expenses of government in the organization of the African Games. One of them was the total amount of money that was spent on procuring the games management system. Per information available to Joy Sports, the government had paid about $4.5 million for the games management system to Atos. Atos, in turn, also engaged a local software company in Ghana known as Substripe to be able to manage the games on behalf of the French company, Atos. Well, the chairman of the local organizing committee, Dr. Ofosu Asari, says they were able to beat down the figure from $4.5 million to $2.9 million. He was speaking before the media at the Accra Sports Stadium on Monday.
Honorable Kwabena Wayome, who is the ranking member and chair of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Youth Sports, now chairman of the committee, sorry, former ranking member, now chairman of the Committee on Youth Sports and Culture, a position which affords him access to parliamentary tools to ascertain the facts and cross-check on whether information, on whatever information he gets. And it's unfortunate. It's throwing out some figures and feeding the media on some of these wrong figures. It is important to note that during the organization of the Games, Honorable Wayome met the LOC on 3 separate occasions at the instance of the Parliamentary Select Committee and never sought to procure information from the LOC itself to satisfy the queries pertaining to the issuance of contracts. We are aware that he has filed a question in Parliament to which Honorable Mustafa Yusuf, the Minister for Youth and Sports, has responded, awaiting to be called by the Speaker of Parliament to give an open response. The service provider, Atos, a reputable international company which provided similar services at the Tokyo Olympics and the Paris Olympics, they were the people we contacted to get things done. It partnered a local company. Now, we paid, please take note, this is the crux of the matter. We paid the company $2,995,000 USD. $2,995,000 USD. That amounted to $35,940,000, and not Ghana cedis. $35,940,000 Ghana cedis. At that time, I think we used, the rate was 12.6. And not 4.5 million USD. Please take note. You can quote me anywhere. We paid 2.9, and the details are 2,995,000 USD, and not, for Christ's sake, and not 4.5 million USD for the games management system.
The committee also confirmed that $15 million was spent on feeding athletes, officials, and other people who participated in the successful organization of the games, according to the committee chairman and the catering committee chairman. About 12,902 people were fed within 18 days.
We have a lot of people coming on board to bid for. The FEGS company that even came up gave us a budget of $48 million to feed the 11,000 budgeted. Another company came up, also using Labadi Beach Hotel's kitchen, that is going to charge us $16 million, but he cannot come to the point there because there's no big kitchen over there to use. So they would like to cook from outside and bring it, which the protocol frowns at. So there's no way we could do that. So we have to make sure we look for somebody who can do the needful. It is as a result that we arrive on L&M which was ready to cook from the on-site, and was ready also to cook from the on-site by making sure he come up with a construction work and equipment. And so about 10,000 square meter stretch was given out, bare land, to commit themselves to do all these things. Somebody may ask who and who that we are going to feed, which my chairman had already retreated. We are feeding athletes. We are feeding what we call the TOs and then ITOs. The TOs simply means the technical officers and then international technical officers. We have the AU and the VVIPs and then other protocol people that comes along with it. We have both local and the international media that we fed them. And we have security. We have anti-doping and medicals. And we have volunteers. Volunteers alone was about 2,900, so we peg it at 3,000. Somebody will also ask, how many in effect did we feed per the scenario? As other political people were saying that it was only 5,000, and we fed them within 2 weeks, and for that matter, every day, we fed them with at $1 million. We would like to set the record straight that per the 200 minimum that we budgeted for, Ghana alone was 591. As my director or my chairman has already said, Nigeria 428, South Africa 391. So imagine coming up with 200 budgeted for, and the number has even gone up. In effect, we end up feeding 12,902 every day, and with breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks.
Life on the streets of Agbogbloshie market is tough. It may sound cliche, but it truly takes the strongest to survive. Yet for many young girls fleeing poverty in the north, this market is where dreams of a better life are born. The bond between Jahara and Umiatu is strong. What brought them together was a shared goal to have enough money to pursue nursing training and escape from the clutches of poverty.
Hey! Aisha.
By day, they run errands to survive, but their main job is carrying loads for their yam seller boss, Abna Pokio's customers. They walk long distances, hauling heavy loads, earning meager pay. Whatever they make, they carefully divide a portion for their nursing school training, some sent home to support their families, and the rest for their daily needs. Ishahaku Jahara Jatu, only 20 years old, has been at the yam market for 9 months. She left home without telling her parents. As one of 5 children from a close-knit family, the farm life in Tumu in the Upper West region wasn't enough for her. She tells me that her only hope for a different future was in Accra, One day, she packed a few clothes, borrowed money from a friend, and left without looking back. It wasn't until she arrived in the capital that she mustered the courage to inform her family.
The day I went to leave, I sneezed inside the room and picked my clothes and folded it inside my bag. And I gave it to one of my friends to keep it for me. And my mother asked me, Dara, where are you going? I said, oh, Mommy, I'm coming. I'm going to one of my friend's place. The time she realized I came here, when I reached here that I called her, I said, I'm going to Accra. She said, why? I said, you see, look at the suffering that we are getting there. I want to come here and look for money and go back. I said I will not refuse to go to school, so I will go.
And what did she say?
She didn't say anything. She just prayed for me. That's the only thing she said.
Life on the streets is brutal. Jaharat says the hardest part is finding food, water, and a safe place to sleep. But that's not all. Fending off bad people and unwanted advances is a constant struggle as she fights to make ends meet.
When we wake up in the morning, we'll go and buy pure water and come and wash our face. After that, we went to work. After work, we will come and sleep. We don't know anyone here. Like, if we want to go and buy food, we usually go and buy gari and come and soak it and eat. That's the only thing we are doing here.
You eat only gari and gari soak it? So if you compare your life in Tumu to your life here in Accra, what do you think?
My life in Tumu is better than when I'm here.
That's when she met Umiatu. The 24-year-old had left Tumu under similar circumstances. Having been in Accra longer than Jaharat, Umiatu has helped her navigate the harsh realities of city life.
I met her, she also roamed and then she's tired. Then she sat at one place to rest. Then when I roam and I also become tired, then I met her. I asked her where she's staying. She said she too, she don't have any place to stay. She's also sleeping outside. Then I said, oh, the same as me. I'm also sleeping outside. Then I took her to where I'm lying. Then she took me to where she's staying. Then we began to make friends and close friends.
Umiatu dreams of becoming a nurse, but saving enough money for her training means carrying heavy loads daily. The demands of street life often makes it difficult to hold on to hope.
I'm thinking of going back home.
Will you go without anything in your hands? What is the goal?
For what I plan to come here and go and do, I hope I can do it small.
But when you go back home, what will you do?
I will, for the little I have, I will set up a business.
On some days, like this morning, the market isn't kind. Umiatu even had to turn down a customer because the pay was too little for the effort.
We do charge 15 cedis, 20 cedis from here to CMB. But now, they will come 7 cedis, 5 cedis. I just rejected one because the price is no good. She was offering to give me 4 cedis. 4 cedis from here to CMB. It's no good. The distance is far. That's why I rejected it. Because 4 cedis cannot buy medicine. Neither can 4 cedis buy food.
Their living conditions are nothing to write home about.
15 cedis. 13 cedis. My own is 15 cedis.
At night, Jaharat and Umiatu sleep out in the open, in front of a shed that houses men. Their only source of security is one another, relying on their mutual strength to get through the night. Their boss, Abna Pokia, tells me that this is their only option until they can find a better foothold in Accra. They are very humble and hardworking. Sometimes they even do beyond the duties that I give them. I have advised them to take the work seriously and get enough money to set up on their own. At night, they spread their carrying clothes as makeshift beds, taking turns, sometimes, to stay on watch while the other sleeps. It is a routine of survival. Every day is a fight. Yet every step they take brings them closer to the dream that keeps them going. The hope that one day they'll trade this tough life to become nurses. For Joy News, Mami Sinyamiche Thompson.
Are you ready to turn?
My name is Alberta Edimandamte. I know October has been set aside for breast cancer awareness creation. Yes, I have been doing it periodically, basically every month I do it. And then what is really recommended is that you screen the breast for any lump or anything that looks abnormal, especially 1 week after your menses. After menstruating, the first 1 week, it is recommended that that is when you can do the breast examination. So what I know is that you can do the breast examination yourself, or you can access any health facility that we have in our country, and the nurses would also be available to help you screen the breast for any abnormalities for prompt interventions, because I know early detection can really save your life. Thank you. For my husband, well, specifically, he doesn't really help me, but you know, as he plays with the breast, if there are any abnormalities, he draws my attention and then I take the necessary action. Okay, so for the men, you have to keep reminding us, because when the health court comes, it doesn't come to just the woman, it comes to the man and the woman as well. Imagine living in your home, your family, your kids, and your wife is sick. It's going to drain the finance of the family and then the time, who takes care of the children. So remember, the here is to keep reminding us, keep us on track. Keep reminding us to keep examining our breasts so that at least the early detections can come, because the little I know about breast cancer is, although it is deadly, it's curable. Once it's detected early, breast cancer can be treated and women can be free. So for especially in October, I know we'll make a lot of noise about breast cancer, and a lot of women. Now I know the health sector, what they seek is to empower the women. To empower the women especially, so that at least the early detections, as I said earlier, yes, we can pick them early and then cure them and treat them as well. So as a nation, we are going bit by bit, we will get there.
It's a condition that affects most women than men. And what I can conclude on it is that this month, which happens to be breast cancer awareness, is very, very important as far as ladies are concerned, because breast is part of our body, and therefore if there's any kind of problem affecting the breast, then it becomes a stigma. And so we also have to involve those who have gone through this condition and have survived, so that they can also share their experiences, so it can serve as hope and inspire others to also, even those who are already having the condition, it will inspire them to know that, oh, that is not the end of everything. So people have gone through and they have survived. So we need to also involve those who have gone through the condition and have survived, to inspire others, for them to get hope that indeed there is a future for them. Sucking of breast milk, in fact, before the man even sucks the breast, let me say, is an intimate relationship that you can do that, and therefore I believe the man will fondle with the breast, and by so doing, it even helps to detect if there's any abnormal lump, and that can even help for early detection. So sucking is not a sin, or it's not anything that can create a problem. In a way, it helps the men to also detect early forms of cancers and help the woman to get remedy as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. So it's not medically, it's not. But if the mother is actually breastfeeding, then the opportunity should be given to the baby to actually breastfeed until such a time that the breast will be, the baby will be weaned off for the man to also continue.
You know, when you say breast cancer, it's basically about cancer that actually attacks or affects the breast of women. And it has caused a lot of deaths and havoc to individuals and families, not only in Ghana, but across the globe. So that is why it has become a topical issue for every country. So that is what I would say about breast cancer. Yes, I would say an emphatic yes, because men and women are almost two sides of the same coin, and whatever happens to a woman directly or indirectly affects a man. So it is not a business that is, or it's not an issue that is related to women, even though they are the victims. We also have to help as much as we can. Well, in my candid opinion, the advocacy is enough, because almost every year we actually dedicate months and times to celebrate it. But I think that we should look at more practical solutions in terms of going down to the people and let them know that these are major causes and these are the ways of preventing it. So I think that.
And there you have it. We've entered the 10th month, October. It's a special month. We go pink. It is identified as the leading cancer-related cause of death among women. And with Ghana as part of the countries to bear the heaviest burden, the brunt of it by 2050, the month of October is set aside as the Breast Cancer Awareness Month to bring to the fore the existential threat the disease poses to our women and the need for them to be more conscious and pursue the necessary actions to avoid fatalities. And I might as well add men as well, because there's a small bracket of men who also end up developing breast cancer, about 1%, in Ghana slightly higher. So on this pink morning, we dedicated to breast cancer awareness and all we need to know about it as we launch the Breast Cancer Awareness Month on the AM show. And my guests this morning joining the conversation, it's heartwarming to have a man in the middle, Professor Joe Nat Clegg Lamptey, Professor of Surgery with the University of Ghana Medical School. Dr. Nadoko Aite is a senior specialist oncology and radiotherapy at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. And we also have a survivor. Remember that song from back then? I'm a survivor. No, it's not Destiny's Child. It's Barbara Dowona. She's a breast cancer survivor. It's so good having all of you in the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. But before we get into the studio, before we get into the talk, let's contemplate some data as far as breast cancer is concerned, some statistics. Let's get to that shortly, and we'll be walking you through some of the things you need to know when it comes to breast cancer. So there you have it. 2.3 million cases of breast cancer occur every year, and the source there, the World Health Organization. Of that, the death toll, 670,000 if you're looking at the year 2022. 670,000. That's a staggering statistic. And you would also realize that 99% of breast cancers occur in women. So it leaves about 1%. The men must feature somewhere, right? So the men are also in there. 1%. And if you look at this, 0.5% to 1%, like I said, occur in men. But in some areas, they are more prevalent than in others. So in Ghana, for example, when I was having a chit-chat with Prof before coming on air, it was clear that we had over 1%. Let's just go back to the last slide so I can And in terms of the targets, to reduce global breast cancer mortality by 2.5% per year, these are general targets. Reduce breast cancer deaths globally by 2.5 million between 2020 and 2040. I'll be speaking to the experts to find out where we are on that trajectory. And finally, 4,500 cases per year in Ghana, 4,500, and 50% of those diagnosed cases result in, unfortunately, death in Ghana. So those are the staggering and, I should say, horrifying statistics that we have as far as breast cancer is concerned. Guests, good morning one more time. Thank you for joining the conversation.
Good morning. Thank you.
I'll start with you, Prof. I know you've been on this beat for quite a while, Doc as well. A lot of work that has been done. But break it down for us. What exactly is breast cancer? Let me start with you, Prof.
Right. Well, first of all, what is cancer? Cancer is when you have the cells in your body. Cells are like the minute parts of our body growing out of control. Okay. Normally, the body has a system where cells grow, they die, new ones are formed. And when they grow out of control, then we say we have a cancer, because then it becomes a lump. As they grow, they get...
That's what chain.
Yes.
Cells, they've decided to do their own thing.
And then they begin to spread where they are, and where still they may spread through the blood vessels. And we call them lymphatics as well.
And maybe once they do organs, other organs.
Once they do that, they go to other organs. And that's the danger of cancer. So basically, that's the problem with cancer, is that they grow uncontrolled and then they spread.
Is that the fancy thing that you call metastasizing or metastasis?
Yes, metastasis.
I have to be careful with that, because this is a slippery slope.
Yes, it's a metastasis. That's when they leave the breast and then they go to other parts of the body.
I see. Is there anything you'd like to add on that?
Basically, that's it. So when that occurs in the breast, then that's breast cancer. And our worry is that, unfortunately, a lot of the patients we see come with such advanced disease. When that happens, then their outlook is not as good.
By the time they come, I think I've read some data that points to the fact that even in Ghana, there are much better outcomes when people discover early and come early, because then the chances of a fatality are reduced to the barest minimum. But once you come late, the damage has already
That's the problem. In fact, a recent study by Dr. Ani and her colleagues compared outcomes for breast cancer patients who were seen in Ghana with early stage disease to that of the rest of the world. And the outcomes were the same.
Wow.
It's just that the proportion of people who come to see us with the early stage disease are too few.
Okay. So it doesn't matter. This is not so much about health systems and all of that. If you go early, you are very likely to
we are well established.
Well established,
yes,
to do that.
To deal with the disease if you come early, yes.
But while it is important to check, it's not every lump you find in your breast that would probably be cancerous, because there are benign ones which are harmless and malignant ones. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so most of the lumps you find in your breast are probably not cancers. There are all kinds of things. When you are breastfeeding, you can have a lump grow in your breast, like a galactoseel. You can have just a boil in your breast. So for majority of the women, it is not breast cancer. However, for the small proportion that is cancer, it's important. That's the reason why we have to assess every breast lump to make sure that the ones that are malignant are identified, and then we can intervene quickly. But most of the breast lumps are not malignancies.
I see.
And I want to say that most of the lumps that are painless are the ones you should worry about. More often than not, people are worried when they have a lump that is painful, and they will go to hospital for that. And breast cancers are usually not painful, and people would wait, watching to see if it will become painful. That's the only time they go to hospital. So usually it's a painless lump when it's breast cancer.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So the painful ones usually tend not to be cancerous. It is the painless ones.
Yes.
And they will be developing slowly.
And that's
you have low knowledge.
And that's the danger.
Yeah.
Because people react to pain. So a woman has pain in the breast, even when you've assured her there's nothing, they will keep coming. But the painless ones, often they don't.
Let me come to Madam Dona and just find out, you are a survivor.
Yes.
You've been there, you've done that, and you've survived. We thank God for your life.
Thank you.
Tell us a bit about your story. And they are talking about early detection and all of that. What's your story?
Okay. 2020, that was January. I saw a lump in my breast, but I ignored it. And then 3 days later, as I was cleaning myself, I'm from the bathroom, wiping myself, then I saw it again. So I called my son, said, hey, come and look at something. And he said, hey, Mommy, what is this? So in fact, I decided to go to Herbal Hospital. Wow. So I went there, they checked, and they said it's mammatis, something, but it's not cancerous. So
that's what the herbalist told you?
Yes.
That it's not cancerous?
It's not cancerous.
Okay.
So I went there for 2 months. Then later I have a nurse in my house. I called her to come and have a look at it. And she told me that I should go for mammogram.
Okay.
So the following day, I went to SNIT for mammogram. And when the result came, they said I have to take it to a hospital. There is a doctor, the woman in my house is a nurse, and she works at Achimota Hospital.
Okay.
So she gave me a doctor there. I showed the doctor my report, and she said I have to do biopsy. In fact, the doctor talked to me a lot, and he told me that if it's cancerous, I will have to go through chemotherapy, surgery, and then I'll be on hormonal treatment.
Okay.
So the day Ghana was sprayed during the COVID, the day Ghana was sprayed was the day I went for my biopsy report.
Wow.
And in fact, as for me, I'm very curious. So when I went for the results, when I was coming, I just opened the report and saw carcinoma. I said, what is this? So
this is not sounding good.
It is not sounding good. So I just Googled and saw everything. In fact, that day, I cried. So I took the report to the doctor the following day. And he said, Madam, you have cancer, stage 2. I'll give you a referral letter to go to Kolebo. In fact, next month will be exactly 21 years. My mother passed through cancer. Wow. Her own was lymphoma. That is cancer of the lymph nodes. So I saw when my mother was going through chemo, I saw what she went through. I'm the only child. I have a cousin who helped me. I saw what she went through. So the time the doctor was talking to me, to be honest with you, I was saying in my mind that, boy, I don't know you, or meaning you yourself, you don't know what you are saying. Me to go to Kolebo, no way. So after giving me the referral letter, I went back to Herbal, an alternative treatment. I did it for almost 10 months.
So you got the report.
Uh-huh.
You saw the carcinoma, you checked.
Yes.
And saw that per what Google was telling you, there was a cancer.
Yes.
You went to see the doctor. He also emphasized that you had a cancer.
Cancer, stage 2.
Yet you still decided to go back to herbal medicine. Why?
I was afraid. Because the time my mother was receiving chemo, what she passed through before she died. So
is it the hair loss, the pain and all that?
The pain that she went through. She went through a lot of pain. May I so rest in perfect peace. Amen. So that alone,
it put you off.
It put me off not to go to Kolebo.
Let me ask you this quickly. Today, on hindsight, looking at your own situation and what you went through and surviving, do you think you should have just continued at the hospital?
After the surgery, well, please, dear question.
Do you think, now that you reflect on it, the time you went back to herbal medicine, do you feel at that point you should have just continued at the hospital, you shouldn't have gone back to the herbal treatment.
Oh, okay. The herbal treatment that I did, my stage was stage 2. And when I went to Kolebu, it was still stage 2. Okay. There was no, it has not increased, it has not spread.
But were they able to treat you with the herbal medicine? That's the question.
Okay, I went for some time and I left. So I don't know whether maybe they can treat or not, but I went to Kolebu.
But did you see results?
That's what I'm saying, that it was at one stage.
Okay.
It didn't spread.
Okay.
Okay. That was what happened to me.
Okay.
Hold
briefly there for me.
Okay.
Just hold on.
Okay.
The herbal medicine bit. Okay. The reason I bring this up, and I always say that far from demonizing herbal medicine, a lot of the drugs we consume, the orthodox, the other synthetic and all of that, they have a base from herbal medicine. So no one is demonizing. The problem is where sometimes, like you said, you went and they said it wasn't cancerous, but it actually was cancerous.
Yeah.
Okay? You could have just been there and, God forbid, the unthinkable would have happened. And sometimes some of these institutions, there's no dosage. They are giving you everything put together. There's no recommended dosage and all that. You could end up destroying your kidney, livers, and other things. So let me come to you, Prof. Herbal medicine treating cancers, especially in this case, breast cancers. What do we know so far?
Well, we actually do not mind too much if they are used as complementary.
Okay.
Especially with those that are well tested by, we have this Tetepashi.
Right.
Thing.
So complementary in the sense of side by side with.
Yes, we don't mind too much.
Okay.
But we have had too many cases of people who decide to go and use herbal medicine and they come back when it's too late.
Right.
We've had just too many to count. So
is that the usual trend? Is that what most people do?
Well, I won't say most, but quite a lot of people do. Quite a lot of people do.
And when you look at the fatalities, what happens usually when they do that?
Oh, it's always bad news. They always come back when it's worse. Even when they think it's improving. I've had somebody who said it's improving, the lump is getting smaller. After a few months, he came back and they had spread all over. So we certainly do not recommend it.
We certainly don't recommend it. And it's because of what I've also garnered in the past, which is why I posed that question. Is there any add-on before I bring Mommy back in?
I just think that it would be good if we had some form of collaboration with our partners. I used to call them competitors. But I think they are probably our partners, because the truth is that most people are comfortable with them. Yes. Often they tell them, I can cure your disease. The doctor may not necessarily say that.
Right.
But the hope they give the patients, maybe as doctors, we should learn to give that hope to our patients as well. And if we work together, I think that our patients would be the better off if we work together with them. Because sometimes it's simple things they give them. Ginger. Ginger is good for when you are nauseous from chemotherapy. So that's not so bad. And if you do that, then you are doing it together. But to decide to do only herbal treatment, so far we haven't found any herbal treatment that is able to cure breast cancer. So if you do that alone, I'm sorry, the outcomes will not be good.
Okay. It's good we've put that out there, clearly. If you do that alone, then, sorry, but you know that, and we don't want you to be on that road.
Yes.
Now, let me come back to you. So you went back to herbal medicine for 10 months, and what made you stop?
Okay. My son called my cousin in London during the Corona time.
Okay.
And my auntie's daughter, and he told him, my son told my cousin everything. In fact, I didn't tell any of my family members, because everybody is passing through difficulties during the Corona time. So my cousin told my Auntie Henry Auntie in London. So she called me and she asked me what was going on. And I told her everything. She said, so what are you doing? I told her that I'm doing alternative. She said, why don't you want to go to Kolebu? I said, no. What my mother passed through, your sister, I can't go. So 2020, December, she came all the way from London because of me. Mrs. Henrietta Obley, God bless you for the impact you put in my life. If it was not because of you, I could not have known what have happened to me. God bless you. So she came and she said, no way, I don't have to do the alternative again. So I should go to college. So they have a friend, a doctor friend in London called Dr. One doctor, I've forgotten his name.
Okay.
So they show her, they gave him my report. And he said, you know, one doctor here, Dr. Wellington.
Okay.
We are related to him, so we should go and see Dr. Wellington. So we went to see Dr. Wellington. He also stayed at Hachu, where I'm staying, with my report and everything. And he said that too, because I have delay with the referrer, so he will write something, a note on it, so that I'll take it to Kolim. So it was Dr. Wellington. He's dead now. May his soul rest in peace. He wrote a letter on the referral letter. That day I cried. He said, cry everything. If I say you go to Kolebu, you go to Kolebu. So at the end of the day, there's nothing that I have to do, but I have to go to Kolebu. Right. So I started going to Kolebu in January 2021. And one thing that I always say that if you admit that you do the treatment, the day you start to say that you start the treatment, you're already a survivor. So that was what happened.
And that was your story. How long did it take you to deal with the situation? Because, like she said, doctors don't necessarily say they are going to cure you. Okay. But how long did it take to have an acceptable, level of,
Okay, I was given 6 cycles of chemo.
6 cycles?
Yes.
How long was that?
If you do it every 3 weeks.
Okay.
Every 3 weeks, you go for the next chemo.
Okay.
But I did 3 cycles, and I went to see the doctor. And normally, after every chemo, you have to go and do blood test.
Okay.
And they will check your blood. If you are on a level, then you can go for the next one. If it's very low, then you have to go in for another 1 week and do another test. They have the level that you have to get before you can go for the second or the third chemo.
Right.
So when I did the third one, normally when you do, if you have 6, you do 3, then you have to go and see the doctor so that they will see how far the chemo is working on you.
Right.
So I went to see the doctor, and he gave me a medical form to go and do a lab and bring it the following week. Let me say something. The time I was doing my treatment, I told God that if He heals me, I will not hide what He has done for me, but I'll come out and let everybody know what He has done for me.
Right.
So whilst I was doing my treatment, I was also praying. So I went to church, and one of my pastors told me that, Auntie Barbara, that was on Sunday. God said I should tell you that you don't do the chemo again. I held on to it, and I prayed over it. And on Wednesday, that was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, when I came to see the doctor with my report, he told me that, Madam, you will not do the chemo again because the chemo you are doing is not doing any good to you, so you will do your surgery. So they gave me a letter for, I was transferred to anesthesia.
Okay.
So by the grace of God, I did the chemo only 3. And it was not easy. So I did my chemo 3 around April.
Okay.
So I went for the...
you went into surgery as well?
And I had my surgery on the 17th of June, 2021.
Okay, let's pause there. Let me come to you, Doc. I know when you conduct these surgeries, it's pretty tricky because you want to ensure that any little elements in the cancerous tissue are out, because if not, they could redevelop. They could.
All right.
Well, I don't know what the technical term is.
All right. So we must necessarily take the cancer out of the breast.
Right.
And there are two ways in which we do it. We can take the lump out with some normal tissue. Like you said, we have to make sure that all of the cancer
surrounding
that is
tissue.
evident, yes, is taken out with a little bit of normal tissue. Prof should be saying that he's the surgeon. But with a little bit of tissue to make sure that we've taken everything out. And that's useful when you have slightly big breasts with a small lump. So the maximum size we prefer is up to 5 centimeters. Then, if you have a tumor that is much bigger than 5 centimeters, it's the best way to manage the breast is to take away all of the breast.
To take the whole breast?
Yes, and that is what we call mastectomy. The reason is that for a larger tumor, it's likely that there's disease elsewhere. So taking away all of the breast will ensure that the disease doesn't come back within the breast. But in addition to the surgery, remember Prof said that the cancer can spread locally into what we call lymphatics, right? The armpit is the next junction for breast cancer. So as part of the surgery, we would do some form of surgery in the armpit. Okay. There are two things it does. It will tell us the extent of the disease. So the more lymph nodes that are involved by disease, the more advanced the cancer. But also taking the lymph nodes with disease away is also part of treatment. Okay. So we'll do that surgery as well. And then once all of this is done, depending on the stage of the cancer you have, we would have to do radiotherapy.
After it?
Yes, after it.
I know, okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. I know in some of these instances, maybe I may be transposing what happens with prostate disease to this. I know sometimes you have to do the surgery before you do radiotherapy or something of the sort. You can't do that before you go in. What is the issue?
Well, so all the modalities are available to you.
All of them are available.
The modalities are systemic treatment, which includes the chemotherapy everybody knows about, hormonal therapy, and some targeted treatments as well. And then there's the local treatment, which includes surgery and radiotherapy. So it's a combination of all of that. We can give you the chemo first, and if the tumor is too big, or for example, you have ulcers on the breast, when we remove the breast, we should be able to cover. So if there's a lot of ulceration, that might not be possible. Right. So we can give the chemotherapy. It will control the cancer, make it much smaller, so that we can have the surgery and close up. Yes. Okay. Sometimes we may even give radiotherapy first, because radiotherapy also has the ability to make the cancer smaller and take it off attached tissue. So the cancer can get attached to your chest wall. And radiotherapy can help detach it, from the chest wall. So we can do that first as well. Okay. So Prof, it depends.
Right. I do know that when it comes to the breast, especially with women, because it's not restricted to women, there's a 1% men ratio in there. It's part of the optics, the cosmetic aspect. And that is one of the things that women struggle with the most when you tell them, owing to the size of this, your entire breast has to go. Mm-hmm. What are some of the experiences you had? And I do know, again, that there are prosthetic breasts as well. Can you share with us what the experience is and how it can be dealt with?
Okay. I think, first of all, like you rightly pointed out, because of the fact that you're losing a breast, some women don't come to hospital. And that's one of the reasons why they come late. However, as Dr. Aisi has just said, if they came early, they could have saved their breast. And that's the interesting thing. Because they are late because they are afraid they will lose their breast. Then they wait for so long that when they come now, they have to lose their breast, when they could have saved it.
And if you're not careful, you are saving the breast and losing your life.
Exactly. So, but what are the alternatives? Yes, you pointed out that there are things you could put into your brassiere and so on. And they are some of them feel like breast and so on. But we also do breast reconstruction for patients. Okay. So we work very closely with our plastic surgeons So we have a very good team with oncologists, surgeons, plastic surgeons, breast nurses, and so on. So they can actually create a new breast when the breast is removed. And they can use the patient's own tissues, or they can use implants, or they can use a combination of both. So that can be done as well, either at the same operation or later.
Okay. So it's not a lost cause if you are thinking of the cosmetic effects. Save your life first. It's like the Bible will tell us, seek first the kingdom of God and all the other things. Save your life first. Yeah. Then you can think about how my breast will look.
We can get to another
forward.
breast.
Because God forbid, if you pass, the breast will be of no use, to you.
And there are other advantages that when the breasts are very large or very big, the reconstructed breast is often smaller. So you can actually have a reduction on the other side, so that you have become very,
nice breast.
Okay, so let's look at this. We'll talk about knowledge, but there are two things that Madam Dowona mentioned that I want to get into. The role of genetics. She says her mother had it. What factor is it? And demystifying breast cancer. It appears people have all these impressions, not just breast cancer, the cancers, but especially breast cancer. And she also mentioned stage 2. I know in diabetes and others there are. Just briefly, we are pressed for time. I'll start with you. I don't know which ones you want to take first. What does it mean, stage 2 breast cancer?
Well, so stage refers to the extent of the disease.
Right.
And there are multiple things we use to assess that stage. The size of the breast, whether or not it is involving the skin or any tissue beyond the skin posteriorly, and whether or not you have lymph nodes in your armpit, and whether the disease has gone to other parts of your body. So various combinations of that will give us the various stages, from stage 0 actually to stage 4. Stage 0 being when the cancer is not invasive. So there's a precancerous type of breast cancer. And that is what we usually might find if we do regular mammograms, and that's what we advocate for. Yes, and then we go through stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Stage 4 being when the cancer has gone to other parts of the body, when it's not curable.
Okay. Doc, can we look at the role of genetics in this?
Yes, genetics is very important. There are some genes that we've inherited from our parents, which predispose us to certain things. So we have people, Abedipele's children will play football very well, and so on. And so the same way, you can actually inherit the tendency or the likelihood of developing breast cancer. That doesn't mean you will get it. The environment also plays a part. What you do, things that you expose yourself to, will also influence whether or not you get breast cancer or not. But yes, unfortunately, some people have this tendency, and therefore they have a higher risk of developing breast cancer.
So especially with such a history, you have to be even more
careful.
Careful.
Especially if you have more than one person. Maybe your mother had it and a sister has had it, another generation had it, then it's likely you have that gene.
I'll come to final bits, knowledge every woman, every man as well should know. Of course, the men are also, help your mother, help your sister, help your wife, your girlfriend or whatever to do this. But I just want to find out, Madam Dowona, do you still check your breasts regularly?
Yes.
I'm sure you do so more regularly now.
Regularly. So normally when we go for to see the doctors,
right?
Every year you have to do mammogram.
Okay.
So for instance, next month I'll go to radiotherapy to see my oncology.
Okay.
So I have to go and do mammogram.
Okay. Please keep it up. Yeah. Okay.
I don't joke with it at all.
Great.
I'm always checking my breast.
Yeah. That's great.
That's what I've been doing.
And I would that all we're doing that. Prof, how often should women check their breasts?
I think she referred to doing mammograms. So yes, so that's important. Above the age of 40, we say have a mammogram once a year.
Once a year.
But not just that. After the mammogram, see a doctor as well.
Okay.
Because believe it or not, mammograms are not 100% accurate.
Right.
And sometimes the mammogram may say it's normal when there is something in the breast. So it's good to have it examined as well. Okay. Now the patient herself, or the woman herself, or the man, must also examine themselves once a month, we say. Because in between the yearly checks, something can
happen.
So if the person is checking themselves once a month, for those who are having their periods about a week after the periods, just check yourself. And if you notice any change, there are many things to look out for, but basically if you notice any change, then see your doctor.
I'll give you 30 seconds each for wrap-up comments. But Madam Dowona, if there were one thing you could say to the women, especially the women watching, what would that thing be? Very brief.
Thank you. What I'll say is that, please, ladies over there and women, try as much as possible to be checking your breast every month. If you see any lump, any change at all in your breast, please go to hospital and follow doctor's advice. They will check it for you. If it's anything, it's not every lump that is cancerous.
Right.
If the doctor see you, what they have to do for you, they will do. Because early detection saves lives. And don't put fear and panic in you. Whenever you see something, you go through it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was very informative. Go to hospital. Check. Go to hospital. Don't be afraid. Right. Prof, final words?
Yes, the same
Doc, I know I've left you out for a
while. Don't worry.
Yes. I think Tracy said that we are well equipped in this country to treat breast cancer as well as anywhere else in the world. If you have breast cancer, come early, and you are more likely to be saved.
Okay. Doc, you have the final bit. I'll be more generous with the time. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Final words.
So both Prof and I believe that one of the biggest problems with breast cancer is stigma. And one of the ways to counteract that is if people have knowledge. People are scared of things that they don't understand. I don't know if you've heard, they say if you give something to somebody, they don't know what it is. They will look at it. If they don't understand, they will hit it on the floor and they'll probably try to bite it. It's only because we don't understand. And so Prof and I have come up with a book, a guide to breast diseases. The aim is that this book will be available to all women, especially the young women, so that they will understand what breast is and what breast diseases are.
Okay.
The aim is that we will develop a generation of women who have no fears around breast cancer. And if we have that, then we can find the disease early, and then we can give the treatment when it's necessary. And truth be told, if we have a young generation that is breast aware, they're going to influence the people ahead of them and those behind them. And Ghana would be the better. Ghanaian women and the few men would be better off.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Madam Mona, for joining the conversation. Those who joined us, Professor Jonat Clegg-Lamte. He is Professor of Surgery at the University of Ghana Medical School. We also have Dr. Na Doko Aite, Senior Specialist Oncologist, Oncology and Radiotherapy, and Madam Barbara Dowona, a survivor. It's Pink October. We'll be back with more on this same subject. Do stay. We'll be right back. It's Breast Cancer Month, and today we're going heavy on breast cancer awareness. We're calling it a Pink Tuesday. Now, the Rotary Club of Accra Airport, Rotary Club of Accra, that's the Premier International, Joiner 9.7 FM, and the Gold Coast Restaurant are jointly embarking on a community outreach program on breast cancer awareness and screening in the second week of the month. Now, the climax of events in the month is Pop Chain 2024, a charity concert to raise funds for further community outreach programs on breast cancer awareness and screening. The event this morning is to launch the Breast Cancer Awareness and Screening Program and Pop Chain 2024. And joining us for the conversation, we have Alice Otu Okran, President, Rotary Club of Accra Airport, and also joining the conversation, William Ofori is a member, Pop Chain Planning Committee. Lady, gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
From the way you are smiling, I think there's something positive. Something positive we're going to be discussing. But I'm sure you followed the conversation with the medical people and the survivor we just had in the studio. From where you sit, I would ask, why this drive as far as breast cancer is concerned? Alice, let me start with you.
So thank you and good morning to your cherished listeners. There's always something positive with Rotary. Now, Rotarians are about 1.2 million people around the world looking for needs in the community to solve them. And so when we realized that breast cancer has been something very topical over the years, when we moved from the sugar project, I think the most obvious goal or cause to champion was breast cancer. Now, we moved to breast cancer last year, and last year we screened and about 702 people in a community in the central region.
Okay. How many? 702?
702
wow.
Women. And up till now, we have about 10 of them who are still going through some sort of care. And this is through the support of Rotary and our partners in this cause.
I see. Of the 702 you screened, I am curious, how many of them showed any signs of lumps or anything of the sort?
So like I said, we currently have about 10 people, women, we saw signs of breast cancer.
Okay, so those were the ones.
Those are the ones that are still going through some sort of care. And this is being supported by Rotarians and then our partners as well.
Okay. William, let me come to you. I would like to start from the standpoint of Pop Chain and how it feeds into all of this, creating that awareness and support for breast cancer.
Right. So the Pop Chain, we just thought that we should have a platform and a vehicle that would address a cause, but also bring people together and raise funds. And this whole idea of the Pop Chain actually started in 2015 with the Rotary Club of Accra Airport and several other partners, as well as corporate donors. And the idea was initially to bring school bands together like we used to have in the old days, live bands with all the school groups. And it went very well. We started, like she said, with diabetes. And we did that for a number of years. And then post-COVID, we switched to breast cancer. And it's taking a slightly different dimension because this year, getting the groups together was a little challenging, but we will still have, in terms of forming the bands and the preparation, but we'll still have a good live performance with the same schools and all students of the schools backing it. But the Pop Chain is really to raise funds and awareness and then drive the actual project that we're doing, that is screening and awareness creation, screening, and possibly assisting with the aftercare, the treatment. As you heard before, that it's a long journey.
Right.
For even
and it is an expensive journey as well.
It is an expensive and complicated journey for every single woman or man, for that matter, who is discovered with a suspected breast cancer case.
Right. And as funding is this crucial, I am curious to find out, how much are you hoping to raise from all of this in support of the fight against, I nearly said the fight against galamsey, because galamsey is it's so prevalent, the fight against breast cancer?
I wouldn't like to put a figure to it.
Okay.
We want to raise as much as possible. Why would I not put a figure to it? Because it's, like I said, it's a long journey. And the different modalities of treatment, like was expanded on by the medical personnel. And whereas, and then the length of treatment depending on how long the journey is and what stage. So it could run from a few tens of thousands of CDs to a couple of 100,000 CDs per patient, depending on what they have to go through. So yes, if we can raise 10 million CDs, why not? you know, and then
you can raise
again,
100 million cedis, why not?
If it can be 100 million cedis, why not? Again, we don't know how many suspected cases we would find.
Right.
So there's no target. The sky's the limit.
All right. And I hear, for example, that, well, while we have all the expertise in Ghana to deal with breast cancer, when you look at the global averages, our numbers when it comes to men, for example, is slightly higher. When you look at the 0.5% to 1% band, we are slightly on the higher end, which means that there's a lot of work to be done. And maybe as you go around creating awareness, more men should also be made to realize that, especially with those who are showing signs of, you know, please get yourself checked. But on that bit of awareness, the earlier you check, the better. What will be your message on that to those watching us this morning? Awareness and getting checked.
So I think that there's been a lot of communication and awareness in the month of October. However, I think it should not end in October.
After October, everybody goes to sleep.
Yes, the conversation should continue throughout the year, really, so that the check-in and the awareness will be continuous, so that everybody would be careful of breast cancer, and even for the men, prostate cancer, which you know is very prevalent in our society. So yeah, it should be a continuous conversation and not end in the month of October.
But tell me, so beyond these things you've mentioned, what else can we expect within this period as far as Rotary is concerned?
Okay, so we have the launch of the breast cancer awareness and screening on the 8th of October, which is next week, in Abokobi. So right after that, the screening will continue. So there will be a DEBA on that day, and right after that, the screening will continue in Abokobi on the 28th, on the 8th and then the 9th. And then on
8th and 9th of October.
8th and 9th of October in Abokobi. And then on the 10th, we move to Pantine. So we will do the screening and breast cancer awareness in Pantine. We would have professionals supported by Millennium Promise and Cancer Network, as well as our Rotarians coming in to support with the screening and awareness program.
Okay. William, quick ones on the pop chain. Are there any surprises we can expect this year?
This year, the lead band is going to be the lipstick band. And
oh, is it the red lipstick band? Or just the lipstick band?
Well, this time they'll be pink.
That's a good one. Pink October.
This time they'll be pink.
We'll give them a shade of rosé.
But it's going to be amazing. They're going to put up an amazing performance, and we expect all old school groups to be there to cheer them on. They will probably each recommend one song and join the lipstick band in that. But we want to create that whole awareness thing, but also bring people together for a good cause.
I see.
And together with our partners, we also have the Cancer Support Network.
Okay.
And they would also be driving that awareness post this month of October.
Okay. And very interesting there when you mentioned the Red Lipstick Band. I believe it's the all-female.
It is, yes.
The all-female group. They are, I can tell you, they are fantastic. Professionals, all of them, who also have that passion and they are driving it. I'll not mention where I usually, meet them because then I would be giving free ads, free props to a certain institution, but they are simply fantastic. In terms of ticketing,
yes.
Maybe just before you
so
final
the event is 26th October at the Gold Coast Restaurant and Cocktail Lounge in Cantonments. Right. And in terms of ticketing, there's a short code. So you can either get the tickets from Joy FM Studios or Gold Coast, but we also have e-ticketing, and you have to dial the numbers *714*003*#. It's not just for ticketing. You can also donate. So if you choose to just donate because you are for some reason not in town or you're supporting the worthy cause, you can still dial star 714 star 003 star 3 hash. I think the numbers can go on the screen, and you are welcome. You're welcome to donate. You're welcome to give.
I would suggest you mention the numbers again.
Slowly. So take a pen and paper, and the numbers are star 714 star 003 star 3 hash for both e-ticketing as well as receiving your generous donations. And for those who want to...
So this is both for ticketing, if you want to purchase a ticket,
yes.
or if you want to donate.
If you want to donate, you would go through the prompts, and it would show you, which option for donation and which option for purchasing tickets.
Okay.
And we encourage as many people to be present.
All right.
Because the experience also counts.
It sure does, and it's for a worthy cause. Final words, 30 seconds each. I'll start with you, Alice.
Thank you very much. So I'd like to take the opportunity to thank all our partners, the Rotary Club of Accra Premier International, the Gold Coast Restaurant, Joy FM, which has been our biggest partner for over 9 years. Thank you so much, and I'd like to invite the general public and all the old school to join us at the pop chain to raise funds for a worthy cause. Thank you.
William?
I would also extend on the thanks to the Cancer Support Network. They have specifically been providing a lot of the technical guidance for this project because they've been in the cancer space for a long time. And then all the corporate sponsors over the years bringing us to this stage, and any other potential partners that want to join us in this. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, William, for joining the conversation. It's all about the Rotary Club Accra Airport and what they are doing, Pop Chain as well, together with the rest of us. When we return, we'll be telling you about Set Up a Startup. What's that all about? You'll get the details after the break. Welcome back. How about I tell you about the Africa Startup Ecosystem Builder Summit and Awards? Well, it's an influential initiative led by Kevin Ayaba, founder of Set Up a Startup. Now, ASEP aims to champion ecosystem building as a fresh approach to economic development, empowering individuals like you and communities to attain economic independence through entrepreneurial triumph. ASEP endeavors to acknowledge and celebrate the often overlooked heroes who actively contribute to ecosystem building. And Bransa is a proud partner of ASEP, that is Brand South Africa. Well, joining the conversation this morning, I have the man himself, Kevin Ayaba, founder of Set Up a Startup, in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Very colorful outfit.
Yeah, Africa is colorful. Of course, Ghana.
Africa is vibrant and full of color.
Yes, and of course, I'm in Ghana with all the colors.
But tell us about ASEP and the reasoning behind it.
I think in your introduction, you did mention that it's really about economic development, advancing economic development in Africa, but using entrepreneurship and innovation as key, as a fundamental to achieving those goals. But also, entrepreneurship is about the backbones of, we have the backbones of founders. And these founders are called, these backbones are called ecosystem builders, the incubators, the accelerators, the investors. You know, media houses like Joy.
Maybe even venture capitalists.
Venture capitalists, right? And development organizations like Brand South Africa, and event partners like like Rand Flows. These are all people that support the entrepreneurs. So we call them the foundation of every entrepreneur. So ASEP was born to really recognize and connect with these people and tell them thank you for promoting and pushing innovation and entrepreneurship. Without mentors, without coaches, without business advisors, we will find very few successful entrepreneurs. But since we have more mentors, more coaches, more incubators, as well as development organizations, we now start seeing the surge of more founders across the continent that encourages more entrepreneurs. So ASEP was found on those bases.
Okay.
Yes.
Shortly, I'm passionate myself, and I do quite a number of things in fintech. We'll get to that shortly. But why the choice of Ghana for this year's event?
We started in South Africa, in the southern region, right? And because we are the Pan-African platform that support entrepreneurs, that support ecosystem builders, that support innovators, that support policies that speaks to a conducive environment for entrepreneurs. And when you say you are a Pan-African organization, or you cannot focus on a specific region. So when we launched in South Africa in 2022, we saw a need to go continental. And then in 2023, we went to Kenya to cover the East African region. And then this year, we always have a way to choose where we wanted to go. So we throw it out there on LinkedIn, social media, and then we throw it through send email or our database. Where do you want us to hold ASEP next? The vote came in and they said Ghana.
Some of the biggest spaces in fintech include South Africa, Egypt, Kenya, even Nigeria, among others. Ghana too, but there are bigger players. So it's a good thing that it is coming to Ghana this time, and that it was the popular vote as well.
Listen, Ghana has really been doing an amazing work when it comes to the space of innovation and entrepreneurship. You have great organizations that are focusing that are in this country. You have organizations like Growth Africa, like Met Africa. You have organizations like Fidelity Bank that are doing some amazing work within the space. You have Orange Corners that are in here. Ghana has attracted all this name, GIZ, all this name, and they didn't just attract all this name for no reason. They attracted all this name because of the incredible work that the ecosystem has been doing. Fintech, we see yet to see, because trust me, I've been struggling here to transact one or two things when it comes to the space, to the fintech space. But I guess with the digital Ghana Digital Innovation Week that is happening just starting tomorrow, we will surely see some of the startups doing this work of digitalization. So I really look forward to it, especially in the fintech space. That's one thing that Ghana is really lacking.
Right. And I'd like to salute the association in Ghana on that, and also make mention, someone I met recently at a big fintech event, Ethel Kofi of Edel Consult as well. These are players in the space that we are talking about. But speaking of which, the digital and fintech space, right? Yeah. If you look at the foot map in Ghana and Africa generally, what does it look like? And are we matching the pace globally when it comes to the demands that the continent is presenting?
The demands, that is the whole point. We have the market. There is a need, but we don't have the solutions. Right? We see deals strongly with cash. You know, we are this cash area everywhere. You carry a whole lot of money. But fortunately, Accra, Ghana is safe in terms of security. We can still move around with money. But there are countries that you can't even dare. So there is the need. We are looking at 1.3 billion people in Africa, and you have not up to 2% of the digital of the economy of Africa that is digitalized. Apart from the biggest country that have shown digitalization in terms of the economy, fintech is South Africa, right? So you have a majority of the continent that really need to go to digitalize the fintech space. So the market is massive, and we cannot. We encourage the startups, we encourage the ecosystem builders, the incubators, the accelerators, the entrepreneur support organization to step up, to push the entrepreneurs. We are pushing for the mentors and the coaches, and those are conversations that we're having with ASEP to say, listen, these are the challenges that you just posed right now. Which startups do you have in your space that are solving this problem, or how can you help? How can you encourage startups to start looking into these spaces?
And these are definitely interesting, areas to look at. In Ghana, of course, there is quite a bit of this. We can do much better, of course. But if you look at even mobile money transactions, right? Within the last year or so, it's been about 1.77 trillion Ghana cedis. That tells you that the market is there, and we can delve deeper into that. In terms of the security, though, the other problem is now with hacks and all these things, cyber attacks and all that. That is where I feel the continent should be investing further so that people can be more willing to go digital with currency, so that you don't have to carry cash, but you're also very sure that your cash is secure and someone can't just get into your accounts or something and take your money away. But what has your collaboration with Brand South Africa been like so far? How did it come about?
Wow. Oh my God. The work that we do, it comes from a passion and from an impact space, and we are a non-for-profit organization. Right, and Brand South Africa has been a huge supporter of our initiatives since 2018. They've been supporting our initiative, our event, our award. Brand South Africa is that organization that believes in entrepreneurship, that believe in innovation, that believe that Africa is that one place that if we push innovation, if we put entrepreneurship, if we put education, entrepreneurship education, we will build a better Africa. And that's one of the biggest, that's one of the proudest organizations that we've been honored to be part. That does not just look within South Africa. Somebody will ask yourself, why is Brand South Africa in Ghana? We're talking about Brand South Africa in Ghana. But Brand South Africa is everywhere because they see the importance of a collaboration. They see the importance of a cross-border collaboration. I like to put it that way. They see the importance of Africa trade, inter-trade conception. That's why you see, I mean, the head of that is in, the head office is in Accra. They believe in the power of...
Is it the AFTA you're talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about the AFTA.
Continental Free Trade Area.
Yes.
Right.
So they have been a major part, not only for ASEP, but they've really been pushing entrepreneurship and innovation and pushing collaboration and across the continent. So they are really a proud supporter. They took our ideas from just when it was still an idea, and they believe in it, and they supported it. And another thing that you would want to know is that Brand South Africa actually encouraged us to come to Ghana. They really encouraged us to come to host ASEP this year in Ghana. So that's why we are really so proud and really appreciate the fact that they've stood by us from day one.
All right. Final words, what should we know about this event? And then as you say that, I'd like to know, I don't know how long you've been in Ghana. What do you think about Ghana? what stands out for you about Ghana? So just fuse those together and it's a wrap.
Yeah. The people, I mean, you have an incredible people in Ghana. But let me just talk more quickly about the event. Our event is a 5-day event. That starts from the first. We actually start today. We start with the Ascenti Summit. Tomorrow we are Ghana Design Innovation. We partnered with with Ghana Design Innovation Week as part of the Ghana Design Innovation Week event at the AICC. On Thursday, we are at Innovate Black Hub at Adenta, where we'll be hosting a full-day summit and an award in the evening. On Friday, we will continue, and then we will do a tour, just like you asked, what stands out. We want the people, we brought in our 50 to 100 people across the continent into Ghana, so we want to take them across on a tour. But I would like to close up with thanking again Brand South Africa, thanking again Orange Corners, thanking Fidelity Bank, NIP as part of our support, Growthville. We have the Ghana Chambers of young entrepreneurs. We have OVO Africa, we have Growthville, South Africa, for all the work that they have been doing in making sure that we are in Accra today and we are in the continent today. How about Joy News for having me on their show? Thank you. I heard great. This is the first I was hearing about it, but they told me, Makeba, how did you miss it? You're on TV all the time. How did you miss Joy News, because it's everywhere across Ghana? So thank you for having me.
We're grateful. And that is Makevin Ayaba, founder, startup convener of ASAP Summit and Awards. He joined us for this conversation. We'll take a breather. We'll be back shortly with more. Do stay. I ask you as I welcome you back, how do we care for our senior citizens? How do we ensure they are in the best position possible in terms of health and other dynamics? Well, in commemoration of the International Day of Older Persons 2024, Fifth Sense Strategies and Aviation Social Center Limited present the Seniors Day Out, 2nd edition. The date is Saturday, October the 5th, 2024. The theme, Our Place. Right? The venue is the Aviation Social Center between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. And we do know these activities will include free healthcare, self-care, and wellness activities, gentle aerobics. These are senior citizens, no giddy-giddy. Gentle aerobics, seniors reflexology and massages, outdoor intellectual and fun games, a live band for dance lovers. I know they will love that. Buffet, and many more. Tickets are available at the front desk of the Aviation Social Center at a cool 200 Ghana cedis with taxes inclusive. It's all inclusive, actually. Now, this is open to all retirees or pensioners and associations, old school groups, and senior citizens of Ghana, that is 60 years and above. So you're invited. Come with your parents, your grannies, your great-grannies and grandpas for a good time. And joining me in the studio, there's Abigail Sapo, General Manager, Aviation Social Center. Good morning.
Good morning.
And by the way, she does confirm the name is Sapo. Sapo. I love your name, by the way.
Thank you.
Tell us about Seniors Day Out, the 2nd installment, and why you are even undertaking this.
Yes, so today, 1st October, is actually the International Day for Older People. This is a day that the UN has set aside to recognize the contribution that the older generation has more or less contributed to the society, and also to encourage us, the younger and those getting even older, that being old does not mean that their lives have ended. Right. So this year's theme, the one we mentioned, was actually shorter. This year they are saying that aging with dignity, the importance of strengthening care and support systems for older persons.
Okay.
So it's just to go to show that when you have your granny at home, when you have your great-grandparents, those who are lucky to have them, and your parents at home, you show them dignity. So we put this day aside. Last year we held it at Aviation Social Center. It was so successful. So we decided, why not? Let's make it an annual event. And Aviation Social Center, as we know, one of our corporate social responsibilities is to open our doors to the general public, the people that we have in our vicinity, and to celebrate them. So that's why we decided to join Fifth Sense Strategies to hold this annual celebration, if I should put it that way.
The last time was big.
It was.
What's this time going to be like? What can people expect? What numbers are you looking forward to?
So last year we had over 400 older persons.
Over 400?
Yes, we were surprised. So this year we are looking at least 500 to 600.
I see.
Last year we had so many retirees from retiree associations almost all over Ghana. And then we are hoping that this year, I'm not that hoping, this year we've opened the doors even wider to accept all the older persons living in both Accra and its environs. And even Kumasi and other places, if you can come in, you can bring your parents, we'll be glad. We'll be glad to see them. Give them a bit of time, as you mentioned. You know, last year the live band was such a hit. We have videos, I don't know whether we brought you the
wow.
you could have seen how they were dancing and all that. So we are hoping that this year we'll do something even bigger for them.
I see. So the expectations are definitely higher. Before we wrap, just walk us through, I've already mentioned part of the program. Reiterate for us what is going to happen on the day.
Okay. So on Saturday, which is 5th October, if I don't get it, Saturday, 5th October.
Right.
Yeah, the doors open at the Aviation Social Center from 9 a.m. They will start with gentle exercises. So like you said, gentle, not giddy-giddy-bia. We already have a fitness center. So our instructors are trained on how to handle everybody. So gentle exercises on the outdoor. After that, then they will do the health screening. We have at least 3 different health screening points, so they don't queue for long. After the health screening, then they will have some outdoor games. So the chess, the ludo, those who are strong enough and can do sack race, yes, we have that as well for them. So they'll be gentle after the playing and exercising, and then there'll be lunch. So all these are inclusive in the 200 cedis that they pay. They are not paying anything else. There'll be lunch, and then there'll be massages alongside, and then the live band will follow. They can dance till they drop.
And then they can boogie down.
I'm telling you.
Okay, that's good. Are you getting any support? I mean, you're doing this as part of your corporate social responsibility. Are you getting any support? Are there others you're looking to bring on board?
Yeah. So this year we are very glad to have had Bigo and Verna Water from Verna. They are supporting us with the drinks and the water. Japan Motors, they are supporting us bigly, if I should put it that way. Volta River Authority, they are also part of the SNIT. Dragnet, Paycode, Bracebridge Consultancy, and GT Bank, not to forget them. So they are all part of the sponsors for this year. It's not too late if you're a sponsor out there, and part of your also social responsibility is to target, especially the insurance companies, where our doors are open. You can also come along and support this event.
That is great. And if that was not a retiree calling, we'll tax that person to support the campaign as well. But Aviation Social Center, thank you for this collaboration with Fit
Sense Strategies.
Fit Sense Strategies for doing this for our senior citizens. I feel they are one of those categories we often ignore. In my church, every year, something is done for them, especially around Christmas, elderly and all that. I wish we could do many more of these things for the elderly. So congratulations to you, for this role you've taken up.
Thank you for having me.
And that's our recap of this conversation with Abigail Sapor, General Manager for the Aviation Social Center. But don't you forget, today be today. The NDC has been calling for an independent audit of the Electoral Register. They are not necessarily getting what they want, but they are getting a semblance of that. And it's because the Electoral Commission has said that political parties should come together, meet them, and they're going to jaw with the register put before them. You can expect some of those conversations coming up today. We'll be going live to the Electoral Commission. All of that after the break. We'll be right back.